You have questions? America's #1 business coach has answers. It's your Broda from Minnesota. Here's another edition of Ask Clay Anything on the Thrivetime Business Coach Radio Show.
Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Ask Us Anything segment of the Thrivetime Show. And on today's show, we are answering the question, what would Z do? And we are going to be breaking down 10 knowledge bombs that I know are going to bless you. But what I want to do, I want to ask all the listeners for a quick favor before we get started here.
I think it's only fair.
Everybody out there, I want you to get a piece of paper or a notepad, maybe an Etch-a-Sketch. Get something that will allow you to take notes, because what you are teaching now, Z, how old are you right now?
I'm 54, or I was going to say if you're a millennial, you could use the notes section on your smartphone.
Talk to text.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I mean, so just clarify.
You're 54 right now.
Correct.
For the people out there that maybe won't have an appreciation for what we're going to teach here in just a second, I want to tee it up here.
Okay.
Throughout your career, Dr. Z, you first built a what kind of business?
Optometry clinic.
Which your first location? Where are your two locations now?
Approximately 31st and Harvard and 71st and Memorial.
How would you describe the size of these compared to the average optometrist?
They're above average.
Okay. It's successful.
Humble.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
What was the second business that you started?
The second business was a diagnostic sleep center.
Okay, and what is that called?
Dr. Z's Sleep Center. Get it?
I see what you did
Get
there.
it?
Now,
Get
9
it?
out of
Get
10
it?
startups fail, according to Forbes.
That's true.
And Z, did any of those fail, the first two? Did they fail?
No, they became, in fact, the largest in the region.
Okay, so what was your third business that you started?
I started a auto auction,
What's that called?
Z66 Auto Auction.
Okay, and does it do well? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's the largest in the state currently.
Okay, and what was your next business you started?
A DME company, which stands for Durable Medical Equipment Company. And we do several things, but the main thing we do are the CPAP machines that for people that have sleep apnea that we diagnose in the Dr. Z Sleep Center.
Did you not invest early on in Regent Bank, you and Sean Copeland?
It was funny because Sean, actually a good friend of mine, approached me to use their bank. And I said, well, I'm tired of switching banks. Let's just go buy a bank. And he said, great idea. Let's go buy one.
Whoa. So Sean, did you know Sean previous to him approaching you?
I was doing a lecture, or I was speaking at one of those organizations, you know, one of those lunch groupings. I think it could have been, I'm not sure if it was Fellowship of Christian Businessmen or, you know, business dudes that are, you know, really serious dudes. I mean, I forget the name of it, okay?
Right.
But I was speaking when maybe it was one of those
A luncheon?
Men of Integrity.
Men of Integrity.
Men of Integrity,
luncheon.
the luncheon series.
Yes. Like red cars.
Nice. So you guys,
But anyway, I was speaking at that, and he came up to me afterwards and handed me his card and introduced himself. And from that point on, we became friends and built a relationship. And then he was trying to woo me to start using the bank he was working currently at. And then I said, no, let's forget that. Let's go buy one. So we did.
my little backstory with Sean is, if you're out there and you don't know who Sean Copeland is, one, Google the search the guy. It's Sean, S-E-A-N, Copeland, K-O-U-P-L-E-N. He is a guy who's kind of like the Joel Osteen of banking.
No doubt about it. And he's an author. He's a lecturer. He's a great guy. I mean, he's
one of the nicest
all-around
guys ever. And he also gives you bro. When he meets you, he gives you a bro
an
hug.
appropriate bro hug.
Does he not?
Yes, it's certified.
One of the only bankers I know that gives a basketball-style handshake hug combo.
Well, he was a basketball player, you know, back in the day.
Truly, and just it's an amazing combination. So, Sean Copeland, I knew him when he was at Citizens Security Bank. He was one of the youngest people at that bank. Rose to the top. He became the president of the Bixby Chamber of Commerce. I knew him when he moved to Grand Bank, and then now Region Bank. And so you said, hey, buddy,
let's just go
I
buy
know
one.
you're going to move to different banks and try to drum up deposits. You're always going to be a top performer. But why don't we just buy a bank?
You know, the thing about a bank is this, is that I've said on different shows that I don't get involved in a business unless I can control it. But a bank is so controlled by the federal government, by the organization that they're under, that I felt comfortable owning a minority piece of a bank, because we decided when we went to buy it, Sean and I set up a format that nobody would have a controlling interest. Everybody would have, you know, say 10 guys each own 10% kind of thing.
And as part of the Illuminati, don't you control the government? Okay, all right. So now here,
Can I tell a funny Sean Copeland story?
Yeah, please tee it up here.
Well, his grandfather was a cattle farmer out by where I had my horse ranch. They're actually neighbors of mine out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so Anyway, he was telling me a story that some land came up for sale next to their ranch, and the grandfather said, "We got to go buy that. You know, we don't want any mobile home parks moving in.
It'd be the worst.
I mean, we got to protect.
Mobile home parks.
We got to watch our flanks. We got to protect our flanks.
They're coming to get us.
We got to protect our flanks, family." And they looked at him at the dinner table and they said, "Grandpa, you know that's 3 miles now from where we live. We've protected it pretty well."
There's 7 layers deep.
Yeah.
That's across the moat.
Yeah, that's it's kind of far away.
3
So
miles.
the reason why I say all that is because yes, you're my friend. Yes, in many respects, I consider you to be kind of like my business dad. You've been there for me. You've been more than a brother, more than a friend. It's awesome what you've done for my wife and I and our family. First, hiring my wife, and it's just little things, but my wife worked for your optometry clinic, and I didn't know you super well, but the standard of excellence that you guys created there was inspiring to me. So I would go in the lobby and I would spy on the business and look at the checklists. And we didn't have smartphones yet where I could take pictures, but I would actually draw
mentally.
I would draw pictures of the checklists. I would go in there. Why does he set up retail this way, that way? I studied your company, and it created a source of inspiration for me to see a guy killing the game in optometry. Then at a time in our life where we didn't have a lot of money, we were starting DJConnection.com. I worked at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV, a time where you probably should not have said yes. You agreed to meet with me for lunch and taught me a lot of things about the game of business. One of the first guys who was adamant about advertising. And I can say that, Chuck, this is the easiest part of business is marketing and branding, so easy.
Fun stuff.
Sales, so easy.
No, just be good.
Isn't marketing, branding, it's so easy.
It's fun.
Sales is easy. But then you get into managing people, and you have to get to a place where you have core principles that you adhere to pretty much 100% of the time. You have core principles that you adhere to. And Dr. Z said, well, Clay, I have these 10 rules for success I want to teach you. 10 business pig rules. Z, when did you come up with these rules?
This has been, I formulated them over the years of business.
But when did you get down to 10?
I would go back to one thing you said. First of all, thank you for all the kind words.
No, I mean it though.
And I do see you as a business younger little brother or son. I like both of those. And when your father passed from ALS a few years ago, it was a really bonding moment for the two of us and time we spent together, getting you through the grieving motion of that. But I will give hats off to your wife, Vanessa. That used to work for me.
Yep.
And that's how we met, was through her.
Yep.
The fact that she could see the inner man that you were, because the dude that you were when you came to pick her up was a dude that we all sat around the break room and thought, what on earth is she with him?
The combination
come on,
of
really?
both dumb and aggressive made it tough.
I mean, really. I mean, the fact that she could see through your crusty outer crusty outer
shell
into the soft little inner jelly goodness that you are.
You get it. Like if you're Jason talked about it this morning in one of our meetings, but if you're Kanye West and you're known as having the Kanye scowl, that's cool because you're Kanye West.
Right.
If you're Eminem and you're known as being like,
the bad
intense,
boy rapper, yeah.
But in your Eminem, that's cool. But if you got nothing, and you're just dumb and aggressive, that's not a move.
I mean, you'd pull up in your car and the walls would rattle. I mean, you had that thing cranked up so loud.
He's like a clam, right? There was a pearl
come in all
inside.
skunky-eyed and pick a fight.
I got to ask you this though: when did you finally distill your observations from years of experience running companies into these 10 rules?
Well, what happened was I got like you, except I didn't get paid. I got asked to speak at events. And so you speak and then you keep your notes, and the next time you work on it, you keep your notes. And people love, hey, I'm going to teach on my 10 points today. They light up. They're like, oh, I have 10 points. I don't want to miss one of these. They're writing them down and they're focusing on it, and it kind of helps direct your conversation. Then you get a theme, and I themed it up, and I got one that's a little unusual. It's not unusual to have a pig as your theme.
Let me get a wood block. It's not unusual. Okay, back to you, sir.
But so I kind of, through speech writing, I formulated these 10. This was a speech that I gave.
Okay.
And so it kind of forced me to sit down and go, what are my? Okay, here's what it looks like. How can I put that into this format? And
all of this goes under the title of What Would Z Do in my mind. So I'm going to read the principle, and then the business pig principle. I'm calling these are Dr. Z's 10 business pig principles for success.
Right, exactly. And I would tell everybody out there that owns a business, if I walked up to one of your employees and said, hey, how would you handle this situation? One of the things that should go through their mind is, how would my owner/boss handle this situation? And if you haven't taught them or given them the ability or the action steps in order to do that, I would encourage you to do that, because there's a little, and I got inspired by those little bracelets years ago that came out. There's little, rubber band bracelets.
WWJD.
Yeah. What would Jesus do? And that's a really good way to kind of think through it. You're at a fork in the road, and which way would he go? What would he do?
Right.
What would he do? And so that's just a real kind of principle that I've always enjoyed having, because a lot of times I'll have an employee come to me with a problem, and I'd look at them and I'd say, well, what would I do? And they go, oh, well, you do.
Just to demonstrate the mastery of how locked in you and I are now, we're going to teach a principle, and then I'm going to play a song on the cowbell.
Oh.
And you can guess what song it is.
Perfect.
We'll see if you see how
this is
locked
one of
in
my
we
favorite
are
songs. Yeah, this is my favorite games, I mean.
Here we go. So principle number 1.
Name the tune.
Pigs get fat, hogs get butchered. What does that mean?
What does that mean? I was taught by that from a judge that I met from Racing Pigeons, which is a whole nother show. We'll get into that.
You're making this up.
No. It's a thing. Google it. It's a thing. Racing Pigeons. I did that for years. His name was Dick Ott. And anyway,
pigeons?
No. He taught me that saying. And as soon as he said it, it was just like a light bulb went off in me. It's just like my blood started to boil. I just thought it was one of the coolest things ever, because what it deals with is greed. It deals with greed. And there's a lot of ways business owners can be greedy. One of the ways business owners can be greedy is pricing their product or their services.
So high.
Hey, how much does your smoker cost? $1.2 billion.
What do you think about the philosophy that has been taught by many consultants all around the world? If people are willing to pay for it and not complain about the price, you should just keep raising it.
Well, there is something about that.
Okay.
But then the point is that the pig raises it till he gets 1 or 2 complaints and then goes, okay, I know I'm probably there. The hog continues to raise it until he stops selling it. You see the difference? So the pig goes, you know what? Hey, I raised it $5. No one complained. Hey, I'm going to raise it another $5. No one complained.
Right.
And then when he starts to get a little bit of pushback and some complaints, he probably knows they were kind of wanting to complain before, but they just didn't know how to verbalize it. So now he's at this, But my philosophy was this: is why raise the price when you can expand the building, when you can hire more doctors, when you can do more, when you can just expand that. I mean, there's always a limiting membrane. Don't let the price or the greed be your limiting membrane. And the other thing too is with employees. I know so many people that just beat up their employees on price.
They will not pay them well. They won't pay them well.
Yeah. Listen, if you don't take good care of your employees, especially your good ones, somebody else will. Oof. And that's another component.
It's also a dating tip.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's another component of greed. The third area that I see so many times is people that own a business just want to beat their vendors up. They want to get in there, and that sales reps comes in the door, and then pretty soon they come in every 2 weeks, and now they're every month, and now they're every 6 weeks, and now you don't even see them anymore because they're tired of getting beat up on price. They come in and go, well, you need to knock that thing down another 2 points, 2 percentage
Thinking
points.
about making a switch.
I mean, I'm thinking about sending this back up for negotiations. The thing about it's got to be a win-win.
Let me give some specifics to this that I've asked Dr. Z about over the years that I think Chip will be helpful to add to the show notes. One, as you just said, we need to make a win-win in all scenarios. It needs to be a win for the customer, a win for the employee.
Right.
We call it the 3 Ps. You want to have a business that's profitable.
Yes.
You want to have a product that you're proud of, right?
Yes.
And you want to have people that you like working with. The 3 Ps.
Absolutely.
Also, you want to make a profit of about, 20%, 25% is sort of that target. Some industries are higher, some are lower, like home building.
Somewhere between 20 and 30 is
pretty healthy margin.
Yeah, if you're shooting for more than 30, you're kind of getting the hog area.
Yes. You see guys are like, I made a 70% margin on this new home remodel.
Yeah.
It's my only one I've ever gotten, though, but I swear.
Yeah.
I crushed it.
Right. And it just, okay, that's not
the
going to work.
Johnsons, I got them good.
Now,
Suckers.
Now, Z, I'm going to cue up our first
song our show name, that tune.
Okay.
I want you to think about the song.
Okay.
Think of the song. I'm going to play it, and as I play it on the cowbell, I want you to ask yourself to see what song is this on this edition of Name That Tune. Hey, think about this. I'm a former DJ. I know a catalog of hundreds of thousands of songs.
And I'm not.
It could be any song.
I know.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a genre. That way we narrowed it down.
No, don't cheapen this moment.
No, it's a song that was sang by a male artist.
Okay, got it.
I think I narrowed it down.
I already know this. I think I already
gave
know
it away.
Cut it in
Okay, here we
half.
go.
Oh, that's easy. Michael Jackson, Beat It.
Yes. That was impressive.
Oh, well, thank you.
I don't know how you do that every time. It's
It's
impressive.
just crazy. It's crazy good.
To demonstrate how out of sync Chup and I are now, Chup, I'm going to tee up a song here. Now, this song was sang by a male artist.
'Kay.
And I'm going to play it. I want you to see if you can guess what
I'm
it is.
ready. I know it. On top of Old Smokies.
No, it's
What?
Purple Rain.
Come on.
Purple rain, a purple rain.
It's so obvious.
Oh,
It's
you
just
have
so
not.
obvious.
We haven't spent enough time together, Chuck. We need to get more in osmosis.
All right.
More in a flow. Okay.
All right.
Principle number 2 from Dr. Z's Business Pig Principles for Success. Principle number 2: be the pig at breakfast, not the chicken.
What does that mean?
What does it mean?
Well, let's look at the rolls at breakfast.
I love rolls.
Oh, yeah. But is that place where you throw them at each other?
I
with
went
the
there this
flag rolls?
weekend.
You
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Oh,
Lambert's.
very cool.
Lambert's.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh.
Well, shout out to
The
Lambert's.
throwed rolls. Hey, you know what? On that,
Are
they
you
only,
serious?
They
You
only.
went there?
I went there on Friday night.
Let me celebrate this moment.
Yeah.
You went to Lambert's.
I was at Lambert's.
Out
Because of the throwed
of all the
rolls.
restaurants in the world he could have possibly gone to. How did that happen?
Man.
Unbelievable.
Z and I are in sync here.
We can't make this stuff up.
Wow. Okay.
So being the pig means you gave your life for bacon, ham, sausage. That means fully committed. In other words, you are all in. The
All
chicken
in.
lays an egg. And it's kind of like maybe I'll lay an egg tomorrow if I feel like it.
Let me
Maybe
go
I won't
off for
lay
a
an egg
second. Let me go
tomorrow.
off for a second. This is something I hear all the time. I see people say all the time, I'm going to try
come
out
on.
this idea
Come on.
and see if it works. Because if this idea works,
Can I get an egg, man?
then I'll go ahead and keep pursuing it.
There
So
you
I'm
go.
just going to try this, but my fallback position
Uh-huh.
is this other job. I'm going to put a little bit of money into this coffee shop, but if it requires work and I don't get traction, I am going to stop. Z, why is that such jackassery to not be the pig at breakfast?
I'm going to tell you an example.
Yes.
I was mentoring a young man who wanted to open up a kind of a swanky clothing store, kind of, that kind of that swank that they have, those pants with the
Swagalicious.
swag,
The kind of
the
stuff that
certain
Caleb would
pants
buy.
and the-
Smooth.
Yeah,
Caleb
exactly.
would buy, right?
The kind
Very
of cool
Pepperdine-y,
T-shirts,
very
very,
Malibu-ish.
very stylish,
It's a
crazy,
V-neck.
crazy socks
Good
and all
hair.
that stuff. And a few months later, we have another meeting, and he comes by to kind of commiserate, and I'm like, "What's up?" Because I think I have to shut it down, man. I gotta shut this thing down, bro. And I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" He goes, "Well, it's hard to find good help, and I've got this dude on Saturdays just keeps stealing from me. I think, man, just giving free stuff away to his friends, and robbing the kitty, and
Oh, man.
all that kind of stuff." I'm like, "Well, why don't you get in there and work on Saturdays?" Oh no,
No.
bro, that's leg day.
Hey,
bro.
I have audio of what this person said to you. I know it's kind of unethical for me to have mic'd a private conversation between you
You do it all the time.
and a man
man.
that you were mentoring to start this clothing company. Was it clothing?
Mandatory.
Yeah.
The haberdashery.
I want to make sure it was the clothing company because I mic all conversations.
Yes.
It's hard to sort through my audio
Yes.
files. But this is what he said to you. You said to him, buddy, you got to be willing to do whatever it takes. And this is what he said to you.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
I don't quite understand the exchange, but that's what happened.
Well, that's the thing about it is that when you in Napoleon Dynamite's book, he talks about burning the boats.
Burning the boats.
And what that means is that from one island, they would go and attack the next island.
Yes.
And the idea is that there was no retreat. There was no plan B. We're either going to take this island or die. I mean, that's a huge, you think about that, just the
about
mindset,
this.
the mindset of that.
Think about this. After reading that book, I read that book 2000-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had a lunch with you, teed
Yes.
up by Kylie, your manager, who's still there. By the way, super excited for the holiday party. Christmas party's coming up very soon.
Hey, Clay, I just want to point one thing out. When you
Yes.
pulled up for lunch and you lit your car on fire, it's not the same thing, okay? It's
Not burning
you
the
don't have to
boats.
burn your
You
car.
Bro, I
when you
took
pull
that to be literal, bro.
No, bro.
Burn the
Bro, you
Buick.
don't have to-
That's not the same.
I
Then you just walk
was
home.
also one of the early jihadi recruits, and so I just went ahead and
Yeah, just-
pulled out the manual
yeah,
well,
for car
yeah.
bombs.
Burn-
Okay,
burn
now
car.
the point is, seriously, I had just finished reading that book, and I met with you, and I remember this. You said, Clay, can I be frank with you? And I go, okay.
I thought you were Robert, but
Right,
okay.
either way.
But you said this. You said you have got to advertise. You eventually have to buy an ad. And I remember kind of like having but I can't afford it. And you're like, listen, I'm not a paid consultant. Just buy an ad. You were just very direct on that. And I remember going, this guy's a jerk. And you got up. This
guy Frank.
No, I'm not kidding. You got up and went to the salad bar. And I remember going, I wrote that down. I'm like, this guy, what because Vanessa and I were in a spot where I'm working at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. 3 jobs. Vanessa had a job at Office Depot and Oral Roberts University. And I remember going, I don't know how we're going to do this. And so I went and talked to Vanessa, and I'm like, I burned the boats, Dr. Z. It's like an hour-long wind-up. And I'm like, we're going to have to turn off the air conditioning or the heat. We got to do something. I don't know.
It was a powerful moment in your life.
No, seriously. And we sold. We had a white car. I cannot remember. It was like I want to say it was an American model, like a Buick or something. My parents had sold for me. I think my parents sold it to me for like nothing. It was very low cost. But I sold that, and we just had the Mazda MPV. And she started walking to work, and she would drop me off at my jobs. And we decided to buy a Yellow Page ad from Sally. Sally
Lewis.
That's right. Who is the mother of one of your clients, Kevin Lewis.
Lewis Roofing.
And it was like $2,000 a month, Z. See, has there ever been a better time in American history? I mean, right now, you can turn on your YouTube ads or your Facebook ads month to month, man, week to week. See, do you remember the times when you had to commit to an agreement for like a year to buy a Yellow Page ad?
I know. I tell you what, business owners starting today have got that part of it much easier.
Oh, it's so easy.
I mean, it's so easy. So much easier than we had it back in the day. But I remember, I'll tell you what, you put that picture in that ad and you make sure you had the big ones here up front. I mean, come on now. I was like,
full page. It was hot.
It's like fishing for
Jeff
fish
Ramsey
in a barrel.
Jeff Ramsey was my first inbound call.
You
ever.
remember?
Jeff Ramsey. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. You were saying the other day on the show, Clay, you had to commit to whatever marketing strategy you're going for a year. There was no A/B testing. There was no trying things out. It's like,
and let me tell you how I did it. Dr. Z said if your ad doesn't grab somebody by the throat. Z, can you explain what kind of ad you want? If you're going to launch an ad, what your ad has to do in terms of getting the attention of your ideal and likely buyers?
Well, you got to have a call to action. The ad has to inspire you. How many times right now you're listening right now, you've heard an ad on the radio, you've seen an ad in a magazine or newspaper, you've watched an ad on TV, and you go, huh, nothing.
I don't know.
And then the ad comes along that makes you laugh, makes you remember it, makes you go, I've got to have that thing. If I don't have that thing, I may not make it.
I might not.
I do.
My quality of life would be horrible without that.
I need a ham from the Hamlet.
Honeycut ham.
Honeycut ham from the Hamlet.
So
that's
you have to have a call to action. And we, in order to do that, you have to have some kind of component of a deal that just is so awesome, so incredible. So back in the day, see now it's like you want to drive them to a website, you want to drive them to something else. But back in the day, my whole goal was to get them to pick up the phone and call me. I thought I want to have something so crazy, so outlandish, so over the top call to action. They have no choice but to pick up the phone and call, because that was the move back in the day.
And so all I did was I looked at my competition, and they had an ad that said something like started in 1984, founded in 1984.
Yeah.
So I'm going, conceived in 1980.
Yeah, that was you.
That's what I was doing. So I'm like, okay, I got that. And then it said we have over 100,000 songs, and I thought to myself, talking to Z, I mean, I could conceivably get up to 1 million songs. Or whatever.
Right.
So I wrote something like, we can get up to 110,000 songs or something just more than them. And I just one-upped them, and I said, we'll be any competitor's price. And my ad was smoking hot, dude. It worked. It got attention. I put my head.
That's what advertising does. If done correctly, it makes the phone ring.
I literally, all the ads were kind of conservative. I took my head and put it on a body of a person in a suit using Photoshop. So it was like a caricature head, like a bobblehead on a normal-sized man body, but like a 5 times larger head.
Clay,
and it worked, dude.
Clay, I don't want to be mean, and I don't want to be disrespectful. And you know, I've got a lot of man love for you. I mean, you know that, right?
Yep.
But your head is really, really big.
No, I got to be honest with you. I did not enlarge the photo at all.
Yeah, thank you.
Senior picture.
But I mean, when I went out there and launched the ad, though, I had to be the pig at breakfast. I had to commit to it.
And that's one of the things that I think, why we have such a high fail rate on businesses, according to Forbes, which is kind of our business Bible.
Right.
We like to quote Forbes a lot because they've done a lot of the research.
Right.
And it's the easy button. We don't have to go do it. Let's be honest with you. They've already done it. And 90% of businesses fail, up to 80%. 90% of startups, and then 80% of businesses fail. And that rate is way too high. That's one of the things that started us down this pathway of building a business school online, of doing in-person workshops, doing the radio show, which is now a podcast, having one-on-one, now even, one-on-one coaching, business coaching.
Right. A quick clarification. A lot of people might have misunderstood what you just said. When you said Forbes, you weren't saying F-orbs.
Nope.
No, I was saying Forbes.
Spherical bodies or globes, you have no problem with those.
And when I meet an entrepreneur that has that fire in their eye and says, I'm gonna do this no matter what. Studies show that people that say I have a plan B, I'm my fallback, I'm not going to burn my boats, I have an escape door, right? I have
hatch.
a parachute.
Hatch.
I have a parachute.
Yes.
You think, well,
Yeah.
that's wisdom. That just sounds wise.
That
Feels
feels good.
a prudent man
Feels
has,
good.
has his,
Wouldn't be prudent.
No.
No.
Be the pig. Fully commit. Get your mindset wrapped around, because 67% of you out there, according to Forbes again, want to start a business, and we want to help you start it and grow it. Be committed to saying, you know what, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it happen.
We've talked about this in the past on the show, but the thought of a founder's mentality, that means there's urgency within your actions. And if you've only dipping a toe in the jacuzzi, if you're only trying out
in the
the waters,
jacuzzi?
yeah, if you're only testing out the waters,
You pulled out
Yes,
the
I tell you
yeah,
what.
I tell you what.
You just, if you just want
You
to get
brought
in
it
the
on
jacuzzi
yourself
with-
right now.
Chubb, you is
I got a
thick.
nice double
You is
dip
thick
of
that I
chocolate
would love to
chip.
invite you into
I'm
my
taking my
jacuzzi.
shirt off right now. Let's get
Z, whoa,
Let's
hey.
hit the jacuzzi. Oh, wait.
Zay,
sorry.
you're
Oh,
ripped,
hey.
It is
bro.
now time for
Stop
again. Remember, today's show. The entire focus of today's show is what would Z do?
Yeah, I get the jacuzzi.
What would Z do? The Business Pig's 10 business principles for success. All right. So Z, I'm going to cue up my next song from Name That Tune here. I'm going to play the song.
There it goes.
Okay.
This song is a male artist from the 80s. A male artist. Think about it for a second. Think about it.
Okay, hold on.
Hold
on.
I transmit the signal to you.
Is it an individual or is it a boy band?
I couldn't give that much
Okay,
information.
I got
If
you.
I give that much
Whoa.
information,
I got
it's
you,
like,
I got you,
listeners
I got
like,
you, I got you,
oh,
I got it.
This isn't magical. So I'm going to go ahead and play the beat, and you can tell me what it is. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Name that tune with
Okay.
Dr. Z
Got
to
you.
demonstrate how in sync we are mentally. Here we go.
Oh, that's easy. Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel.
I don't be cruel.
Cruel.
I would never be that cruel to you.
It's so simple.
I no.
You gotta give me a harder one.
I'm sorry. I'm trying.
almost embarrassed.
I'm
It's
trying
so
over
easy.
here. Okay, so principle number 3, Business Pig principle number 3 that has allowed Dr. Z to build multiple multi-million-dollar businesses. It's know when to cook the pig. What?
What does that mean?
What is it? Z, audio. Quick audio. This is quick audio here.
Okay, quick.
You're saying it weird. Saying what weird? All of it.
Where do you get off?
I just don't get why you're saying it that way.
Why I'm saying what way?
Okay, now we've clarified what you're saying, Z. What you're saying. Talk to me. Talk to us about what you mean when we say know when to cook the pig.
Well, I always love those scenes in Hawaii. Of course, he doesn't love Hawaii. I mean, come on.
Mickey, Maliki, to you.
So they have the luau's, and in the luau, one of the standards in the luau is a pig. With an apple in its mouth. I mean, the whole pig being cooked, right? And it's always a celebration. They're always a big family celebration. It's a wedding. It's there we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
Here we go.
Uh-huh.
Keep going. See, that's what.
So the idea that you're going to cook a pig means you're partying.
Oh,
Means you're having fun. Means you're celebrating. Means you are having a good time.
Oh, nice,
Oh,
nice.
yeah. 'Tis the season. And so for me, it's very important.
From the land where
Palm trees sway. Okay, sorry about that.
So, for example, this December 8th,
Yes,
we are going to have probably 500 people at our Christmas party.
It's gonna be
employees-
epic.
Employee Christmas party.
It's gonna be epic.
They're at the famous Mayo Hotel.
the
in
iconic.
in the Crystal.
Historic.
Yes, in the Crystal Ballroom.
Oh wow, where they actually have original. It's like original old school marble crown molding. The detail there. I mean, you talk. They don't make hotels like that anymore.
They don't.
The history.
So I'm gonna tell you, if you're a business owner out there and your team have some wins, go celebrate it. Hey, take them to a pizza joint. Go bowling. Go to a billiards.
You took my wife and I to Magoo's.
Yes, which is a
You
billiards.
took all your employees to Magoo's.
Shuffleboard and billiards. We had a great time.
Great time.
Fabulous time.
Dude, and I'm just telling you, at the time though, when you did it, Vanessa and I couldn't afford to go on dates. It was a huge highlight for
Here
us,
again,
man.
it's a win-win. One, selfishly as the employer, I get my team bonding together, even tighter, better friends, and fired up, and they also know that if they work hard and they hit the numbers, and we have a successful month. Guess what?
Chicken butt.
Exactly.
No, but it was
They
huge.
did a great night out.
It was exciting.
It was very fun.
Also, I remember the Christmas party. It was the first time we had a formal event since we got married.
It's so much fun. So
And the casino theme going on, Z. Remember back in the day,
it was
bro?
so much fun.
Casino-
So I'm telling you out there, business owners, if you're not celebrating the victories with your staff, you're missing an opportunity to not only bond with them, but to also show them that they're in the boat with you.
I have a question on behalf
Yes,
of
sir.
a listener who couldn't
Yes, sir.
be here today, and
Yes, sir.
Shep, I'll kind of tee it up here. So, Dr. Z, why can't you have a cheap-ass Christmas party? Why can't you have just the cheapest ass thing? The cheapest, the most unbelievably tacky. Because for years I've been buying my employees. I've been regifting. You know what I mean? I regift, and it's been kind of a secret thing. No one really knows, but I've been regifting, and it's been working well. Why do I have to spend all the time and the money to put together a holiday party?
Here again, these are one of the things that help you build a culture of the environment of your workplace.
Come on now.
And when your staff knows that there is something at the end of the rainbow. I mean, it doesn't suck if you ever get to the end of the rainbow and there's no pot of gold and you're like, man, I thought I was always told.
The leprechaun, he's after me Lucky Charms.
He's after my Lucky Charms. So the idea is that you're team building.
Yep.
At the same time, you're celebrating a victory. And so when I went to listen to one of my favorite business gurus of all time, Jack Welch, one of my favorite business books, Winning.
He's so good.
I just love that. Winning, because that's what it's about. People are like, well, don't you think we need a No, win. Win. We're about winning. And when he got up there on stage and basically said the same thing, he said, listen, you got to go out there, make sure you hire people you want to celebrate things with, because if you don't want to go out and hang out with them, then you shouldn't have hired them to begin with.
Amen.
That was a caveat. But he said, go out and celebrate victories. And I thought, it resonated with me, and I thought, can I come up there and give you a bro hug?
But I mean this, though. There's many hotels we could have chosen, but it's in a nice place. We could go tacky with the buffet.
We could.
But we don't.
We don't.
The whole thing, it's a Chup, you've been there before. Can you describe the energy? Because for anybody out there who's listening right now who is attending our December conference, December 7th and 8th.
7th and 8th.
As a little sneak attack, kind of a little thing here, we're going to be doing a drawing to see who gets to have lunch with Michael Levine, the great one, the PR consultant for Nike, for Michael Jackson,
Pizza Hut.
for Prince, for Pizza Hut. And we're going to be doing drawings to see who wants to attend the Christmas party. You'll get to see it firsthand and in person. It's a game-changing event.
Yeah.
Chuck, can you explain what the party was like last year?
It's fun. I saw Dr. Z do the double splits. It's first class. It's an amazing experience.
I'm still in therapy after that.
The dance contest. You really brought out
awesome, though. And the thing is, like Dr. Z was saying, it is an awesome bonding experience. I met tons of people that work at other businesses, Z, that you own. And
yeah,
it's awesome to meet these people that are all bought into the same value and same culture and celebrate together, like he was saying.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a picture of that, cooking the pig, because when you cook that pig, you've got a celebration. In fact, I'm ashamed to say that in all the celebrations I've done with all my employees over 27 years now, I've never once cooked a pig.
Hey, can we bury a pig in your backyard, Clay, sometime and cook it?
Can we do that? Can we cook a pig in your backyard?
I know how to do it.
At the chicken complex, Clark.
I'm committing right now. This has to happen.
No. Oh, my gosh.
I saw the wheels turning just
Look at him light up.
This has to happen.
Yes.
Thrive Nation, you can't see this, but
he's freaking out right now.
Chuck, put it on the notes. Seriously, we have to do this. This has to happen. We have to cook the pig.
Let's cook a pig.
I'm not sure. We have the land.
We could do for our in-person conference. I bet we could bring one out there and cook one.
Chuck,
there and
put
do
it down.
Lunch.
It's on there.
Put it down.
Okay.
Put it down.
One of the barbecue
seriously,
places
it
must
has to
have
go on the to-do list, and we have to activate this idea, because when you just have ideas, you don't act upon it. It's just hallucination.
I'm going to put it on my to-do list.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We should cook the pig. That's a thing.
That's a thing.
Okay, Z, next, just to show how locked in we are. This next song was written by an artist.
Okay.
And it's a song that...
That's too much.
I don't want to give it all away. It's a song people know. It's a song that you... No, seriously.
Someone knows this.
No, people know this song. I'm going to cue it up. Now, and again, Chup.
Sorry.
Chup, a lot of people are saying you're making a mockery of this Name That Tune. No, I'm not. This is sincere Name That Tune. Chup, I'll tell you this. I'll play the song first, and you guess. We'll see if you get it right, and then Z, you get to go second.
I like
okay?
this. I like this.
Here we go.
I feel like I'm set up for success.
Here we go, Chup.
We already did If I Could Turn Back Time, Clay, in the last show.
By Cher?
Yeah.
No. Okay, Z. Here we go.
It's easy. Bruno Mars, Locked Out of Heaven.
Locked out of heaven. Yes. That's right.
He even slowed it down a little bit.
Are you at a...
Still got it. That's amazing.
See, that's amazing right there.
It's a gift. What can I say? What can I say?
All right, here we go.
I knew you were going to go a little hip hop on me. I knew you were going that
R&B,
direction.
a little bit of hip hop.
I mean, you've been all over the board, doing old school, now new school. I know your action.
Okay, so now the next principle number 4, piggy bank. What is the piggy bank all about, my man?
How many people do you think I'm going to offend with this?
17.27%.
That's fair. I think it's a fair number.
That's
I was
fair.
going to put it at 20, but I think I'm aggressive.
Kind
You're
of a
a little conservative.
Godfather kind of a theme here. That way, it's more palatable.
I think that'd be
it's
appropriate.
kind of funny.
I think that'd be
it's kind of
appropriate. I think that'd be appropriate.
All right, see, tell us what's the principle here, the piggy bank?
Here's the concept. Everybody out there listening, say to yourself, how much money am I saving every month?
How much money am I saving? I'm writing it down.
And if you say to yourself, I'm not saving any money because I go paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to paycheck.
I gotta talk to Sneaks. He's got a brown paper bag.
Every now and then I get a little overtime, and guess what? I get to go and, blow it on something else. Because that's what you do, right?
Well, if I got a zero money down, it's unbelievable, no payments for 24 months.
I did some research. The average American family has $400 in savings.
That's only if you're crediting the Federal Reserve and looking at the statistics and the facts.
That's a crime. That's a crime to only have that in the bank.
That's a crime.
You gotta live below your means. You got delayed gratification. You gotta use
the family.
It's a piggy bank for a reason. You gotta save some, shove some little money in that thing. Take it off the top. Feed the pig before you feed anything else. Feed the pig before you feed yourself.
See, I want to ask you a question real quick here.
Okay.
Do you know what Sneaks is? Where's Sneaks?
Sneaks, yeah.
I don't know what Sneaks is, but Sneaks has all my money. It's in a brown paper bag by the river.
He's sneaky. Well, I know where Sneaks is. He gave it to me the other time.
Thank you.
Okay, but
here's the deal. Here's the deal. Everybody out there that's getting a paycheck, raise your hand. Right now, if you're listening to this,
got it.
You could be wherever you are.
Put your hands in the air, wave around like you just don't care.
Keep one on the wheel.
But I know you do.
Raise a foot if you're driving. Left foot up.
If you're getting a paycheck, boom. Now, if you're saving money, raise the other hand.
Ooh.
And there's not as many hands. I'm looking across
real
the
quick,
country.
Andrew in our office.
Yes.
Andrew Bloomer. Chup, how much of a percentage of his paycheck is he now saving automated?
25%.
Dude.
Sexy. That's aggressive.
Isn't that awesome?
I always coach people 5 to 10. 5 minimum.
He has been living at the office.
Yeah.
Him and his newlywed wife.
Seriously, he has been saving 25%. Yeah. And see, that's enough to pay the future rent right there.
What I'm telling you folks is that what'll happen is you may go, well, I don't need to save any money right now because I'm making good money. And I mean, hey, I'm living the dream. I get it.
You can't take it with you, Z.
I get it. But what'll happen is in about a year and a half to 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years down the road, you're going to say to yourself, you know what? I'm done punching a time clock and I want to start my own thing.
There you go.
Were those guys I used to listen to? Yeah, the Thrivetime guys. Get on school, get on online business school, and like, bam, 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 bam. Then you have your idea. You're like, this widget will change the world.
This widget will change everything. It's brilliant.
And then you'll say, now all I need is money.
Money.
It. So what I'm saying for this, save for a rainy day, because rainy days come. I know Southern California, you're listening to our podcast right now. You do get rain every now and then. And of course, all the fires out there, I'm sorry to hear all the destruction, but you do need some more rain. But rainy days come, folks. So you need to have a savings, number one. If you own a business, you should be able to not make any money for a month and survive, all right?
That's huge.
These are huge things, okay? And by getting a war chest, I call it a war chest because starting a business, if you don't think of it as going into battle, you really don't have the right mindset to start it, okay? But having a war chest enables you now to put your own skin in the game. It enables you to start your business, enables you to change your life, change your stars. So I know you may not have the business I did today, but you know what? You'll have it down the road.
I used to love when my DJ competitors would go out of business. They always put their gear for sale on Craigslist.
For nothing.
30 cents on
classifieds in the Tulsa world. Back in the day when the classified ads were a thing.
Craig wasn't even born yet.
And I could buy that equipment for 10 cents on the dollar. Nothing like buying discounted DJ gear from a former competitor. Beautiful.
But
saving allows you to buy opportunities. Now, see, if this next round of Name That Tune, just to show how locked in step we are, I'm going to just kind of cue it up here. This time I will give a little bit of lyrics. Okay? A little bit of lyrics. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Well, wouldn't it be nice if I could touch your body? I know not everybody has got a body like you. What song is it?
I have no idea.
I know what it is.
But I gotta think twice before I give my heart away. I know all the games you play because I play them too.
Faith.
Come on, Z.
It's Right Said Fred.
Oh, but I need some time off from that emotion. Come on, Z. Time to pick my heart off the floor.
Come on, keep coming.
Oh, and the love comes down without devotion. Well, it takes a strong man, baby, but I'm showing you the door. Because I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Baby. Okay, sorry.
Oh, that was good. Keep going.
No, it's just good.
No,
It's good. I'm actually starting a cowbell band. We're huge in Michigan.
On the woodblock.
Huge.
Huge.
Faith?
Yeah, faith. You got to have faith in the systems. You got to believe that what you're teaching actually works. These are principles that have been proven to work. And Z, these principles, you haven't just sat around on a lily pad thinking, well, even though I have never started a company, here are principles that I want to teach someday. Nor do you make any money in the self-help industry. You just are a business owner who, by the way, has taken the time to distill the common denominators of the principles you've learned over the years.
You know what's sad is I have friends that make $100,000 and they're broke. I have friends that make $500,000 and they're broke. And when I say broke, in other words, if you said, hey, can you write me a check for $5,000 or $10,000, they'd be like, no, bro. I'm like, why? I mean, no, it's a payday. Are you crazy?
You know what I mean?
It's the end of the month, Z.
Oh, wait. Yeah, you can say my new jacuzzi just over there. Why would you ask about me? Anyway, the point is that it goes all across all socioeconomic dividers in the country.
Yep.
And that is that people aren't saving. And we're told not to. We're hey, credit cards. I mean, this the whole culture of America is spend money, spend money, spend money. And a lot of that was formed back in the days of, when we have Social Security take care of you. We got your back end, So a lot of that has trickled down to every generation. But I'm telling you what, folks, use that piggy bank. And the fact that, it's a pig and kind of fits with the old kind of, business pig, kind of 10 business pig concepts. You get it?
I do.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
But if you're not saving, I would really encourage you to do it. Yeah, you may have to get rid of a third car. You may have to get rid of some other luxury item that you have.
Third girlfriend.
You may have to get rid of that.
Second girlfriend.
Even that.
Third party in your marriage.
You may have to get rid of cable, or you have to choose between cable or dish. I mean, I know it's a tough thing.
You don't like to party.
But wait, man, there's things on dish that I can't get on cable and vice versa, bro. What are you talking about? So, bro, come on, man, bro.
So here we go. We have 6 more principles in 6 minutes. Here we go.
Oh, God.
Next principle.
Are you kidding me?
No, principle
That's
number
all
5. Showtime Blue Ribbon Pig. What does that mean?
That means that when you're at work, when you're doing your thing, the most important thing you can be doing is what you're doing. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of things that get in your brain throughout the day. Something going on at the house, the toilet's plugged up at the business.
All the bacteria from my hands.
Did I wash my hands completely? But what I'm saying is that our society is so much about not being there. I mean, I go around and I look at people in restaurants sitting there across the seat from each other, and they're both sitting there on their phones. They're like they're not even around each other.
Here's a picture of my food.
So I used to have a little thing that I used to do, and I know this sounds silly and corny, but it worked for me. And that is every time before I'd walk into an exam room, I'd clear my head, and I'd say to myself, showtime. And the most important thing in the world, the most important thing right then and there was to walk into that room and to smile, to greet that patient, to connect with that patient, and to solve that patient's problem, and to answer the age-old question of why are you here and what can I do for you? Without thinking about all the things that are pulling on me, without thinking about the phone call I need to make, without thinking about the guy that just yelled at me because a car was parked in the wrong spot out, and just whatever, all the stuff that happens, all that peripheral stuff, And I think that's what happens. A lot of times you see employees do this. Well, they bring, like you tell them to, leave your family problems at the door when you come in the business. It's almost impossible to do. I realize that. I mean, things affect us.
They're at the front desk singing, "Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. The very next day, you turned apart." Welcome. How are you doing? Welcome to the business. How are you? Can I help you? These employees, though, seriously. There was a guy the other day at a local convenience store. I said, "How are you?" He goes, "I'll be good as soon as I get done with my shift."
Yeah, exactly.
And I go, "Okay, well,
inspiring."
But seriously, I said, "How are you doing?" Just like that. He goes, "Well, I'll be good as soon as I get done with my shift." And I'm like, okay, well, so I'd like to go ahead and buy an iced drink and some gas. All right, whatever, bro.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. I mean,
whatever.
Wow.
So
I wanted to hit him with the stick that I used to beat the cowbell.
So if you own a business, say you own a construction business, and you're given a quote, forget all the negative in your life. When you walk up, when you go to that family, then you're going to talk about, give them a quote to build a pool in their backyard. You be connected with them, and it's and the showtime is
showtime.
It's showtime, and that's where you connect. And that's where you build your business. That's where you make your money, or those showtime events. And if you sit there and let your phone, your phone's ringing the whole time. And excuse me.
Real quick, now if you decide not to bring showtime every day, this is the motivational. This is what's going to happen to you. See, if you decide not to bring showtime on a daily basis,
you have that decision. Sure.
This is what is going to happen to you. And luckily, Z, we were able to mic somebody who is a former employee for one of my companies. He decided not to bring Showtime on a daily basis. And without his permission, I put a Lifetime microphone. I embedded a chip deep inside his epidermis.
He thought it was a flu shot.
Right. And this is the motivational talk he recently gave to a group of young high school kids who talked to him about how they just didn't want to bring Showtime on a daily basis because they wanted to keep it real. They wanted to be transparent.
Now, you kids are probably saying to yourselves, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack squat.
Holy cow.
Okay, so you don't want that to happen to you.
No. So you have to be purposeful, and you also have to understand the important moments. It's kind of like having a to-do list, and there's maybe one thing on the list that is a must-do today. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, when I was getting ready to walk into that exam room, nothing else mattered. Nothing else. It was showtime, and the show was for me to laser show, give a great eye exam, connect with the person, and make them happy.
What I've seen a lot, Z, is that people just aren't mentally aware of themselves, right? So when you're saying showtime, look at yourself. Pay attention to actually how you're acting, not just how you feel.
Absolutely. So those are those moments. You have them throughout the day. And then when you're out of the exam room and you're out from in front of that patient, for example, that's my example that I have for my optometry clinics. Then you go back in your office, and then you can do all the stuff you need to do.
Throw stuff against the wall.
Big pig eats first at the trough. What is this principle? Principle number 6.
This is the one across the board. Every time I give this speech, every time I talk about my 10 principles, this is the one that gives me the most backlash.
Boo!
People can't stand it.
People love to boo this one.
They cannot stand it. They cannot stand it.
Poor people love to boo this one.
Oh, they do. They do. They will line up after you speak, and they will sit there and berate you. Their hands, as soon as you ask for questions, the first question up is about this one.
Why do you hate people?
Yeah, why?
Just curious.
I don't understand your point 6.
Point 6. Big pig eats first at the trough. What do you mean by this?
I'm telling you what, folks. If you're starting a business, this is going to be a concept. I don't want this to sound mean, but it should be for you.
For you. Come on.
It should be for you.
The business exists to serve you.
It does. And so many times I hear people say, well, I want to open up a business to fill in the blank.
The local community.
I mean, to fill in the blank.
Homelessness and to
change people's life. No, the life you're going to change most is yours.
Well, I'll say it again.
The life you're going to change most is yours when you start a business. We're going to teach you how to grow that thing, and then you're going to figure out how to have time freedom and financial freedom. Kind of a segue on that, Jack Welch was giving a speech, was talking about, he had a bunch of his staff come to him and said they wanted him to create a green light bulb.
Yeah, make it green.
Make it green,
no
safe for the environment.
emissions.
It was safe for the environment. And you know what? Let's change the world with a green light bulb. And they did all the engineering on it, and it was going to be like 10 times the cost. But not be that much more, it's not going to last longer. It's not going to have those kind of features. I can see one that maybe lasts 10 times longer, being 10 times the cost. But it was just going to be a green, environmentally safe more sound
Not like
product.
green, like green light.
Yeah. And Jack Welch says, oh, that's a great idea. That'll put us out of business, and then we can all go find other jobs. He goes, and what we're going to do is we're going to make inexpensive light bulbs that do the same thing, and then make a lot of money. And then with that money, we can go change the world.
There you go.
And then we have a business. And so many times I see business owners really suffering because they have let other people take their business hostage.
Principle number 7. I love this principle. Happy as a pig in the mud. I love this principle because it's so applicable for everybody out there. If you're a business owner and you've ever had to decide what overhead music will be played, or what volume it will be played, or what decor you're going to have, or where the decor will be, or what the logo is going to look like, or what the color of the logo is going to look like, or made any decision at all, it is impossible to universally appease every single member of your team. But yet as a culture, we're taught, if you shouldn't bring candy to school unless you bring enough candy for everybody else. You shouldn't make a playlist unless everyone approves it. Everyone gets to chime in on a song. Z, talk to me about this idea of making an environment where you are happy as a pig in the mud.
Well, here again, it goes back to this idea that it's your business and you have an idea of what you want for your business. Don't let anybody take you hostage for it. And just a real quick thing that a gentleman came up to me the last time I was speaking and gave me this little love nugget.
Love nugget.
A little love nugget, and it was really fun. And the idea goes like something like this. There's a book out there called The Bible.
Bible.
The Bible could be a Bible.
Either way.
I think it's Bible.
Yeah.
And in there it says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that implies that you have to love yourself first. Now, getting on to this point about picking the mud, I mean, I think that when you walk into your place, you should be so happy to be in there. It should have the right smell. It should have the right sounds.
Right people.
The right people. The right everything about it, because it's yours. It's your baby. And you can, you don't have to do the gamble of the genetic gamble, right? When you have a kid, you're like, oh, man, I just
hope
think
it turns out good.
this thing could go either way. And guess what? It's yours. It's yours. So when your business, think of it as a baby that you can create. And you need to make sure that you have an atmosphere that you love to be in, just like a pig loves to be in the what?
Mud.
Speaking of creating babies, one thing I just love, I just love this segment of the show. Okay, we're moving on.
He had to stop himself.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
Chub, I just wanted to say that you just look so nice in the light over there, just
covered in that
something
mud.
over there that says to me. I just said I'm gonna email myself. I just emailed myself right now. I said, self, that is nice. That is nice. Okay, so moving on now.
Yes.
Principle number
Please.
8, the O show. Chup, I don't know whether I want to move on right now. I just want to recycle it like it's Al Gore. No, it's like it's Al Gore's birthday over and over. Just recycle, reuse it, reuse.
Thank you for the idea.
Let's reduce.
Okay, principle number 8, Ocho. Pig-headed, but don't be a fool. Pig-headed, don't be a fool. See, what do you mean by be pig-headed, but don't be a fool?
Well, I mean, don't be pig-headed. Don't be a fool. Pig-headed is a term that people give that are people that are being foolish, that are being, they don't have any flexibility. They're being pig-headed. They're being a fool. And I, years ago, I had
you. By the way, you have really worked wonders with me about this, because I'm somebody who loves to latch on.
You were pig-headed when I met you.
I do love. I even to this day, I love to latch on to principles. Like I'll wear the same thing every day.
Right, and that's okay.
And then you're like, Clay, you got to flow though. There's like water going around the rock. There's no need. There's a time and place for rock, but you don't need to like. And this can happen if you're somebody who's very principled in your religious views or your world views. This can be very tough to learn. This is a very valuable lesson for me and many people out there like me. Talk to me about don't be a pig-headed fool, but you also have to be resolved to certain principles. I mean, give us the balance.
Yeah, well, there is a balance. Thank you for asking. And so it's there's so many principles and so many things I can talk about. One of the things that I really want to encourage everybody out there on a sidebar is your top 5 friends around you. If any of them are not encouraging, edifying, and life-giving people, if they are what we call they suck the joy and the bone marrow out of you when you're around them. Get rid of them. If they're idiots, you know what I mean by that. I'm not being hateful. I'm just like, if they're just people that take you down the wrong road over and over, they're negative people.
What do you say when punting people that are negative perpetually?
What do I say to them?
What do you say?
Well, I tell them that they're fired from my life.
Do you do this really?
Goodbye.
Yeah. Here's the thing, folks. Nobody likes to be ghosted. This whole ghosting concept is just kind of forgetting. Just kind of like, you know what? I got a new phone, lost your number. Who are you? All this kind of stuff, all the jackassery you do. I have purposely sat down with a few men in my life, and I said, listen, I'm just going to tell you right now that I'm just not going to spend as much time with you, and I'm
moving on.
And I'm moving on.
Ejector seat.
And so have a nice life, but don't be offended if I don't text you back immediately, or I don't call you back, or we're not seeing each other. I'm moving on. I my time. I'm busy. I've got things to do, and you can kind of soft sell a little bit to them. You don't want to be mean, but on the flip side, you're being mean to yourself by being a fool and having those kind of people have access to you. Now, in business, you have to make your decisions. What's best for the business? And yes, sometimes somebody may be in there to scam you out of whatever. But understand this: what's best for the business? We had a patient come in. And the lady came in. She was really upset about her glasses she had picked out. Well, they fit her fine. The prescription was fine. Everything was good on them.
It was very fine.
And I think what happened is that she went home, and one of her kids or her husband made a comment that they didn't like the way they looked on her. And that got her all twisted.
Oh, yeah.
And so she couldn't just come in. She didn't think she could come in and say, you know what? I made a mistake in picking out this style or color of frame. She kind of went out there. It was a little edgy. She kind of went out there. It was kind of fun. Looked good on her. But she came in and she was just, so she thought she had to come in, kind of be demonstrative and be like, I can't see anything on these glasses. These glasses are horrible. I need my money back on these glasses.
Good Lord, I can't see anything. These glasses are terrible.
Ethel,
Unbelievable.
I can't even see ya.
I
Aunt
can't
Matilda finally
believe
showed
you
up.
sold these to me. I swear, Robert, you as a
Are you going back in time?
I'm calling the BBB. I'm calling and so then you just calm them down. You go, whoa, it's okay. You know, let's, and so then my staff came up to go, they're fine. She's just trying to, she's something, I go, no. Here's the deal. She could be patient for life, and that's so many more transactions. Let's take care of her now. We realize we did the right thing on this, and she's not doing the right thing on this. Let's not be a fool and try to challenge her and say, no, you paid for it. You picked him out. We spent the 45 minutes helping you pick him out. We were there. No, that's your deal. Now, if you want another something else, we'll do it. No. We backed up. We said, you know what? We're going to have to eat some of this, but that's okay. We made her happy.
You backed that thing up.
Yeah. We said, listen. And I looked at her and I said, listen, for whatever reason you want to exchange those for another pair, that's okay. It's okay. You just settle down. It's okay. It's all right. We're here to help you. We want you to be happy. We want you to see clearly, comfortably, and be happy with your choice.
Amen.
Final 2 principles from the Business Pig. These are, again, Business Pig principles taught by Dr. Robert Zellner, the 10 Business Pig principles for success that he has used to grow multiple multi-million-dollar companies. Principle number 9, 3 little pigs. What do you mean by that?
It's so awesome. Well, if you show up on December 7th and 8th, which is our next in-person workshop, really, I think we had a few tickets left. Do we, Clay, or we all sold out?
We're down to the top. We're down to the final 20.
Okay, we got 20 tickets left. So if you're listening to this, come on out. And one of the things we teach is whenever you're advertising, marketing, you want to have three different branches of that. We call it the 3-legged stool. You can call it some other things, but in the story, the three pigs, the person that used just one, i.e. straw, form of advertising, got his house blown away by the wolf. And the wolf denotes your competitors. Because I know this sounds mean, but your competitors don't have a lot of love for you. What? They might greet your hand and smile when you're in Costco with them, or Reese's, or Walmart. They may slap you on the back and ask you how,
Good to see you there, Dr. Robertson. I love to see you. I'm so glad you're here right now.
Yes, of course. Burns, can I buy your groceries for you, in fact?
Burns, did you cut his brake line? Right,
yeah.
Right, Burns? Right. I mean, just kidding, right? I mean,
they are like the wolf in the story. The second one used just sticks, I believe, something like that, or mud. I'm trying to remember now.
Yep.
And so, boom, blown away again. And the third one had a combination. So in order to make a brick, you take straw, you take the clay, you take some other components, sulfur. I'm trying to remember
2 parts will pass.
Smash it with your hooves.
Yeah, you bang it down, And now all of a sudden, by having three different areas, you build your house. It withstood the enemy, which was your business wolf down the road.
If you don't have 3 ways to market your business all going simultaneously, you will lose.
And that's what we teach in our workshop. And so to me, it was a kind of I thought, well, three.
Very practical. Elephant in the Room, Men's Grooming Lounge, one of my companies. We never, Chup, you see the ads. We never stop our Facebook ads, never stop our YouTube ads, never stop our retargeting ads. That's our digital presence.
Yep.
Then we never stop getting online reviews, ever. And we never stop putting out our signs and doing our mailers. We just never stop.
We never do.
And that's how we get in new customers week after week. Final principle we're going to teach here as we're short for time. Principle number 10. Dr. Z, let the fun begin here. Here we go. Pig advice.
Well, let's fire through these. And you can kind of see how you can have some fun with each one of these. But if you're a pig giving another pig advice, what would you say? You'd say, hey, listen, buddy.
Hey.
Tell you what, once you eat well, okay, keep your snout clean, okay. Never squeal on your friends. That's so big. Don't be gossiping. Don't be talking about other people in the workplace, especially, all right?
Come on now.
Be curious. I mean, a pig is curious by nature. And that's one of the things that I love to see when I see a young person that's curious, because that curiosity leads to inventions, leads to businesses, leads to ideas to grow, start businesses.
I'm curious. Do you know the next song that I'm going to choose for Name That Tune, the final song I'm going to choose? This is for 4,000 mega points.
Ooh, 4,000.
Now, Chup, if you get it wrong or right, there's 4,000 mega points involved here for the right. For the wrong, you lose a total of 5,000 mega points, which means you're going to have to wear a Christmas suit at the Christmas party. So, Chup, I'm gonna play the song, and the category is going to be songs that were sang by men.
Okay, that's fair.
Here we go, Chup. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Super easy one, by the way. Let me try again here.
Oh, yeah.
Got it. I got it.
I feel like that was a Madonna song, Clay.
Nope.
And
That's
you said-
First
said
off,
from a man.
Madonna's not
I know,
a man.
I know.
She is aggressively.
Listen.
Okay, give me one more time.
Listen. First off, you need to deal with your whole gender bender confusion thing you
I
have.
thought you said man and it was a Madonna song.
Listen,
and it's,
I'm going to go back. Here we go.
Can I tell you the song?
Okay, Zee, let me try
I know where I
to
got confused.
What's that?
It was Girls, Girls, Girls by Motley Crue.
No. Okay, Z, here we go. Here we go.
Over.
This harkens back. This one is a special one because it harkens back to Clay's college days. Ryan Tedder, when he was good friends, now does One Republic.
What is it, Z?
Apologize.
It's too late to apologize. It's too late. Then you got to weave in the Timbaland beating of the seal. That's what made
version.
that song a hit.
But he's cleaned it up and have the other version out now. So.
I think that was more of a gray whale.
Okay.
That you made.
Could
there.
be.
Okay, nice. So if you're out there and you're saying to yourself, you know what? These 10 principles are principles that I need to apply in my own life and business. Go to thrivetimeshow.com, click on the podcast button. There you can find
two
each
pig
and
jokes,
every
wait.
archived broadcast, and Z has 2 final pig jokes.
This is by George Bernard Shaw. Never wrestle with pigs. You both get dirty, and the pig likes it.
Wait a minute.
There you go.
Okay.
And this next one's from the great Winston Churchill. I mean, come on.
Come on.
Really? Really? I am fond of pigs. Dogs look up to us. Cats look down on us. Pigs treat us as equals. And
they taste great too.
A sidebar, the pig is the animal that has the closest internal organs systems as a human does. That's a little sidebar there.
Well,
look at this guy.
Little science.
I think you could have just known that by just looking at it.
Have you ever seen a pig's colon? I mean,
yes, actually.
It's called sausage.
sausage.
Want to attend the legendary Thrivetime Show Business Workshop for free? Subscribe on iTunes, leave an objective review, and send us confirmation at info@thrivetimeshow.com to claim your tickets. Want to live in a van down by the river? Come by and see us at our Riverwalk offices, and we'll be able to make your dreams come true.
All right, Z, we're back. We have 10 bonus questions, and here are the rules, Z, for the final bonus 10 questions. All right, I'm going to ask you the 10 questions, and per question, you have approximately 3 minutes to answer the question. Should you go over, it's your show. You do what you want.
Oh my!
But 3 minutes would be preferable, so we have enough time to get all the questions answered.
Oh, perfect.
So,
okay.
Here we go. So, question number 1, coming in hot. What have been the hardest trade-offs that you have had to make in order to become successful?
Ooh, the hardest trade-offs that I had to do.
Yep.
Was delaying gratification, number 1. Number 2 was choosing to spend time with the people I spent time with. In other words, I had to say no to people I really kind of wanted to spend time with, but I couldn't do it all. Also, too, I remember when I was a dishwasher when I was a teenager. I was a professional dishwasher. You may not know that. Oh, you probably do. My trade-off was
Shaquita O'Brien's.
I never went to a high school football game because I was always working because Friday nights were the big money nights. I mean, that's, hey, date night and the couple's out and I'm bussing. I get tipped out by the waiters at the end of the night. So, you make decisions, you make choices, and you have to then live with them. And so
I think one trade-off that you've made
that
you did not just say, and I've looked at it from the outside, so if you disagree with me, it's fine.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I feel like you've held yourself and your businesses to a certain high standard, which has caused you to have friction that you don't often talk about on the show. But like you've held employees and people accountable to a certain standard, right?
Right.
So eventually, I'm sure you've never been screwed over. You've never had a key employee leave you. I've never had someone try to download your database and give it to a competitor.
Oh, steal
I'm
money,
sure you've
steal
never
product.
involved in litigation. I'm sure you've never had people that you'd call buddies or friends or even family screw you and get mad at you as a result of you holding yourself and the company to a high standard. Has this ever happened to you, my friend?
Oh, of course it has. And if you're successful, you're going to have those challenges, and you have to overcome them, and then you have to make decisions. And I think that answering your question on what did I say no to, At times, there were, every times I would miss, when my kids were real little, I would miss time being around them. But then I was purposeful knowing that, when they're 1, I don't think they're going to remember too much. I think I'm safe there, But when they're 10, it's a whole different game then, Then they remember, then they get a little fussy if you're not there. So, hopefully you start your business before your kids come around, and then you kind of build it while they're young, and then when they get a little older, you can actually carve a little time out for them, because that's very, very important. We just did an interview with Daniel Goleman. He's probably the top psychologist
on the planet.
On the planet. I asked him a question at the end of the show. My last kind of hitting question. I said, if you could go back, in time a couple of decades ago, what would you tell yourself? And he paused and he said, spend more time with my kids. I thought that was powerful. Powerful.
Okay. These questions are hot questions.
Hot sauce.
Next question number 2.
Oof.
I give you time to think about this. Here we go. When building your businesses, did you ever partner with somebody that wanted to grow past your original goals? So you had a goal for, let's say, the auction or the optometry clinic or some business you're involved in, and somebody who worked for you, someone you partnered with, you set an original goal, I'm just making it up, to sell 500 cars every Friday. But they wanted to grow well beyond that goal. Has that ever happened to you?
Ironically, it hasn't. I'm sitting here thinking about all the businesses I've started. It hasn't. I'm a pretty aggressive guy by nature, and I set pretty high goals. So my goals were always a tad bit higher than and when I say partners, I mean, even like a good general manager, I kind of feel and treat as a partner. I mean, I think that's, when I introduce some of my general managers, I sometimes even introduce them as my partner, because you are a partner in the growing of the business. And that term doesn't have to mean that they have stock or that they're, financially, they are financially invested, because if the business doesn't do well, guess what?
Chicken butt.
They lose their job. I mean, it is all profit sharing, because if there's no profit, you can't share anything.
Okay. More questions about humans, working with humans.
Okay, all right.
How do you handle insubordination? Do you move past it or deal with it right then? Now, quick caveat.
Okay.
I'm giving you these questions because people ask these questions. I know how you handle this. I do know. So this is not me asking. I'm just saying.
Correct. Yes,
I know
get
now,
it.
but when there's somebody who is just out of their mind, but you can't fire them, how do you handle it? When there's somebody out of their mind and you can fire them, how do you handle it? I mean, just when someone's insubordinate, talk to us. How do you handle these scenarios?
Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
And in the story, you'll see how I handle it.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So I have, at the time, I believe I had 5, maybe 6 doctors working for me.
Yes.
And, we're open 7 days a week, so there's, it's a big schedule, and people are working hard.
Yeah, right.
And we're extremely busy. And,
yes.
Well, they have fun stuff. And so
Fun times.
I had one of my female doctors, her name will remain nameless, came up to me and said, my husband got transferred, and I'm unfortunately going to have to leave. Now, I don't want to, but I have to keep my marriage together, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I said, well, I absolutely respect
Family
that.
first.
She said, our deal was for me to give you 30-day notice. I'm giving you my 30-day notice.
That's very fair.
And I said, we did an appropriate hug. HR would have been happy.
Nice side hug.
High-fived her.
High-five, yeah.
Then a high five. High five's kind of my move anymore.
It's quick. It's quicker.
It's quick.
It's quicker.
Or a fist bump anymore.
Fist bump's really good.
Fist bump's good, but girls really don't.
Elbow bump from across the room. That's the new move.
That's another thing too. And so I was like, okay, well, I got to get to work. So I sit at my desk and I'm starting to get online. I'm starting to get a letter started up, to send out.
Looking for good people.
Looking for good person, good doctor. And a little while later, here, knock on the door. There you go. Open the door. It's another one of my doctors. Just coincidentally happened to meet on the female.
Real quick,
doctor.
I want to clarify. Did the door did it sound like this?
Yeah,
or more of like
more like the
second one?
Yeah, the second one.
Okay, continue.
So she comes in and I say, well, hello, how are you? She says,
going
I'm
on?
doing great. I said, well, I'm doing fantastic.
That's fabulous.
So we do all our pleasantries and she says, well,
here's the deal.
Can I shut the door? May I shut the door?
May I shut the door?
It never goes well when the door gets shut. Just as a general rule of thumb.
That's just a rule.
It's just a rule.
Unless
not hard and fast.
Unless it's a marital discussion and you shut the door. That
could be a good thing.
Different discussion.
That's right. That's right. And she looks at me and she says, I hate to say this, or I hate to do this.
With all due respect.
I go, well, I'm thinking in my brain, then why are you doing it if you hate to do it?
Why are you doing it?
She said, well, I just heard that so-and-so is put in her 30-day notice.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, I just want you to know that I'm going to have to put in my 30-day notice if I don't get a pay raise and a schedule change.
Oh, well, that seems terrible.
It seems the way you negotiate those kind of things.
First off, you negotiated your facial. I'm sure you negotiated your facial expression.
Oh, I was just.
You're the best poker player ever.
And I'm listening with deep concern, and I'm nodding, and I'm listening. And then she said, "And I know it'd be really, it's going to be hard to replace one, and two, that's going to be really tough on you. And I hate to put you in that position, but that's where I am." And I stopped. It took me about not even half a second. I smiled and I said, "You know what? You've been such a great employee. I think you deserve a raise. And that schedule, we should have given you that cheesy, sweet schedule long time ago. You get both of those things. In fact, let's make them start today." And she smiled real big and she said, "Really? Absolutely. Would never want to lose you." And what am I really thinking in the back of my mind? You're fired. I've got to go hire two now.
Now, okay.
Whoa.
So, I want to break this down.
Okay.
Because there's somebody out there that right away is struggling with this. And I want the people out there to know this. John Kelly, Marshall. Marshall knew me when I was the other way.
Yeah.
So the other way was immediately. And I don't know if you ever saw me do it, but immediately I would just fire you at the first sign of insubordination. And then I would always, as a penalty, have to DJ. Marshall, every weekend I DJ.
Oh, yeah.
I'm serious. If someone was insubordinate to me, they would say, "You know what? I don't appreciate." Because what happened? You'd come back from the show, and your CDs have to be organized in order. The CDs have to be alphabetized. I'd open up the case, and I would, if you hear that this person I saw that their CD case was disorganized, and I would say, "We need to go ahead and organize them very nicely." And they'd go, "Whatever, dude." And if they said that to me, I said, "Excuse me, what did you just say?" They go, "Whatever, dude." I go, "Whatever, dude, your ass is fired." And I was like, "Yes!
Yes!
Woo! Yeah!"
And then you started to sort out the CD case.
And then I had to DJ every night.
We had to get the CDs in alphabetical order
This
first.
continued, though, for almost a decade, okay? So when you taught me this story, this was like Matrix for me. So immediately I did the move. This is what I shouldn't have done, but everyone does this. I did. Whenever you struggle to understand a principle, understand how chess is played, this is the question I asked you. Is that ethical?
Yes, of course.
I remember Man Cave, I said, is that ethical?
Absolutely. I tell you what, employees will quit you on their time.
Oh.
And we feel like it's bad for us to fire them on our time, and that's just not the way that it is. It's your business. You deal with it the way you want to deal with it. So what I did is I went out and hired 2 new doctors. I got them in place, and about a month later, I called her up to my room. "Hey,
Could you send so-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, up to my office
Oh, nice.
right now?"
She comes bebopping in, and she's in a fantastic mood.
No, absolutely. She's coming in there bebopping.
I mean, she's coming. She's like, "This has been the best month of my life."
She's bopping the beep.
I got the pay raise I've always wanted. I got the schedule that allows me to do the this or that, the this
Things
and that.
are great.
I mean,
I have audio of what she heard in her mind when you called her up to the office. Because last time she came up there, she got a raise, got the schedule she wanted.
Oh.
Things were great. So
Yeah.
this is what she was hearing in her mind. Yes!
Wow.
Here it comes!
He might be giving me another raise.
Unbelievable!
Oh,
yes! The great benevolent dictator calls me up. This is how Rodman probably felt every time that Kim Jong-un sent him a text. Back to you. Benevolent dictator. This is great.
So she walks into my office, and I'm going to save any entrepreneur out there, any business owner, hours of your life.
Come on now.
Hours of your life. I looked at her and I said, "Dr. So-and-so, if things just aren't working out, you're fired. In fact, you were fired 30 days ago. I just now get the privilege of being able to say it."
Oh, I love that story.
Pack up your stuff.
I love that story.
And hit the road, Joe.
I know that story is not in any way sexual, but it's sexual to me. It's that good.
It's that good.
It's an orgasmic story for business.
And I can't make something up that
No,
clever.
it's
It
so
actually
good.
happened. I'm
It
like,
did.
are you kidding me,
And
people?
not only that, but it happens metaphorically daily.
Sure.
In all the businesses. So this is the question I'd like to ask you then. So let's say that you know that employee is screwing you. The contractor's taking advantage of you. You know
it.
You know it. And they know it, and you know that they know it. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. How long do you pretend like everything's okay because you need them to keep doing their job? How long?
Until I can replace them.
Shunda.
Unless I want to do the work. Now, I could have fired her that day, and I could have, dusted off my scrubs and picked up a few more days, and I could have gone in there and got down in the
You know about my punching my brother, don't you? I told you about this story.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Well, this is a funny story for all the Thrivers out there. My dad contracted. He got ALS. Came down with ALS. Was diagnosed with the disease, and we talked. It was really funny. But my dad goes, "Son, I'm gonna be dead soon, so I've got a couple questions, a couple asks." I said, "What's up?" I'm trying to keep it light. He could still talk fine. He goes, I want to record a video so I can share with you some things I want to share with you on video for you and your brother. And I know you guys don't get along at all because you never have. And I know you don't like each other. And I know, but just until I'm dead, could you please, if he talks to you and antagonizes you, because I've seen it happen, would you please just go with it, go with the flow? And I'm going, okay.
That seems like a reasonable request.
Yeah, so we go to my dad's house, and right away I parked my Hummer over here, parked my Hummer over there. And my brother says to me, "Could you move the Hummer?" And I think, yeah, I could move the Hummer. So I moved the Hummer. And then the whole day is like, "Hey, is your vehicle, by the way, how much gas mileage does it get?" I'm like, "It's like 8. He goes, "Oh, okay, pretty environmentally responsible of you, right?" And I go, "Okay." And then he's like, "Hey, did you vote for Trump?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, so you, as a Judeo-Christian, you like a guy who's, had multiple affairs his whole life, who really just is morally reprehensible. That's your guy, right?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then it's like the entire day is like this. And
I was just trying to get you to take the bait.
And I'm not kidding. I made a mental commitment to my wife. I'm like, I am not going to knock him out until his body is in the ground. So that was like my thing, and I put up with it for so long. And after the funeral, I knocked him out.
Bam.
And I do a backstory. At my dad's funeral, he's talking about, hey, he's not happy about the way he was raised and not happy. And I'm telling you, it was so hard for me. And then the family, it's hilarious, but the family that gets me, there's a few of them. One guy, he was a pastor of a mega church. He texted me and he says, this is the text message. I'll never forget it. He goes, "What your brother said at the funeral was effed up." And he types it out and hits send. And there's that like correction tool.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Good job." But the rest of the family's like, "Why would you hit him? Why would you do that?
Why would you do that?"
And I just hit block, 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 block. And I've been the happiest guy since that moment. But I was delaying gratification for the longest time. And I think I'm serious. And I do that all the time. I remember Elephant in the Room. We had a person who worked for us. This is at the very beginning, who I knew was duly employed for us and a company he was starting. Like, he literally was starting his own company while working for us.
Sure.
But he was in my brother-in-law's wedding, and I didn't have the heart to tell my brother-in-law at that moment because he's getting married like that day.
Sure.
Hey, by the way, in the last week, I've discovered that your best man is screwing us.
Yes.
And I just told him after the wedding. And I don't regret doing that. I think there's a lot of timing things. See, there's timing. I think there's time. But I think initially I used to feel like I got to tell somebody right away. I feel bad.
Well, it's like that song, living on Tulsa time. You should be living on your time. Living on your time.
Timing is a huge thing, though, isn't it?
Living on your time.
Isn't timing huge?
Oh, it is. And as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you have to do it what's best for you. Always put it through that filter of what's best for the business. What's best for the business? And sometimes it's you eating what you want to say, and then smiling and being nice and going with the flow and knowing it's a little season. It's just a little moment. It's just a little hot minute you're getting through, but you'll get through it. And then once you get things in place, then you can drop that.
Let's say that something really irritates you, really makes you mad. How long do you now allow something to make you mad before you get over it? How long does it take you to get over something that's really just making you mad?
I mean, you're talking about an employee doing something, or you're talking about just anything?
Well, it's just at work. It's like, okay, as an example, John Kelly, you can relate to this. John Kelly wanted an identification badge to get into the Riverwalk office, okay? He asked somebody, "Can I get an ID badge?" The person said, "Yes, I'll get it to you tomorrow." And this went on. John, you can yell it out. How many weeks was it? 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks? Was it 4.5 weeks? 4.5 weeks. Every day it's like, "Hey, could you get me an ID badge?" "Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow." For 4.5 weeks. And then finally, I look over there and I watch John having this discussion, and then John just went off, and I let it happen. Z, I was like, "This is awesome.
This is so good.
This is a cage fight that has needed to happen for a long time."
Yes.
But for John, it was 4.5 weeks of needing an ID card every morning. How long? But then I think he got over it really quick. I think he was mad there, and then it was good. But again, John does a very good job of recovering real quickly. How long does it take you?
Yeah, the older I get, the less mad I get, and the less I stay mad. I mean, I try to do it immediately, because I always focus on the positive, focus on the good. And so when something bad happens, and bad's going to happen, you're already kind of pre-set up for it. You already know. I mean, the idea that someone's going through the day thinking, oh, my gosh, I didn't realize something bad might happen today. How do I handle this?
I actually think now, why hasn't something bad happened yet? I wish it would happen earlier in the day.
So just get it over with.
Right.
Yeah, get it out of the way. So I think there's some ways that you can think about things, and you should whenever something comes up that irritates you, you can let it grab a hold of you, and you can be irritated. I've seen people be irritated the rest of their lives. I mean, I know people that have held on to grudges for 30, 40, 50
people
years.
Talking about the breakup that happened 10 years ago.
Oh, my goodness. The divorce that happened 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
I mean, are you kidding me?
It's still fresh.
I mean,
fresh
really?
wound. Too
Really?
soon.
Oh,
It's too soon.
It's too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Stop telling the Whitney jokes. It's too soon.
It's too
okay.
soon.
Now, if you could give advice to your younger self right now, you're saying, younger self, okay, here we are. You're now 30, and I am 58 because I am you in the distant future. No, I'm 54 because I'm the current me, but I'm talking to my past self. The point is, you're 30, I'm 54. This is what I want to tell you. Stop doing this, and life will be better. Or start doing this. What advice would you give to your 30-year-old self now that you are at the ripe old age of 54?
I would have invested in real estate sooner. I would have grown faster. I would have delayed even more. I would have been more aggressive in opening up more businesses sooner. That's what I would have told myself. I said, listen, you got a great life ahead of you. You go get them. Just go a little faster.
So this is a question that may be a little rough, and if you don't like it, I'll pick up on that because you won't answer probably. But for somebody out there who has family,
okay,
and their family they yearn to be an entrepreneur, uncles, sisters, cousins, sons, brothers, whatever. They say, I see your success, Dr. Z, and I want it.
Sure.
Everyone can make that statement verbally.
Sure.
But when it is abundantly clear that they do not have the work ethic or the grind needed to do it, how do you handle that?
I tell them not to quit their day job. And if they want to do something on the side, start it really, 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 really small and see how they go. And what'll happen is, or what's even better is I say, I think that's a great idea. Why don't you get me you know what?
That's your best move, by the way.
Before you jump into it, why don't you get me, let's go over a business plan. Why don't you make a business plan? And then that just kills it right there. Because, they don't have the work ethic to even make a business plan.
So have you ever had to sit down with somebody in your extended family, and again, we can be very vague, so it's very safe. But
very safe.
Where you sit down with someone who is just perpetually failing in the game of business, and you've had to sit down and give them that tough love that wasn't wanted, or do you just let it go? I mean, if somebody, somebody fairly close to you is just bombing time and time again, how do you have that conversation, or do you?
That's a very good question. And there's a lot of different categories that can come into. Some of it is their bombing affecting me financially. If it is, then I feel like I have the open window to talk to them and give them the hard talk, okay? Because now I'm financially involved
the hard talk
in the bad decisions that they're making.
And
that's happened, and that's no fun. And that's me bringing out the paddle and the black hat and explaining how the cow ate the cabbage. And then trying to get a plan, and then trying to put some guardrails on this deal to where we could turn it around or make it better. The other one is casual friends that you just see they're just headed for a train wreck, and sometimes I'll say, well, would you like some advice? And oftentimes they don't want advice. They think they have it nailed down. They think they have it going on.
I got it on lock.
And I think that's one of the strengths of why we started Thrive 15.
I agree.
Why we started our online business school.
Right.
Why we started the radio show, the podcast, the in-person workshops, the one-on-one business coaching. Is because we know you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of times you can see things. And is it me not to mention it? Well, I think it is. It's kind of like Sir, you're getting ready to run over your foot. I mean, you want to, you can help point things out in a way. Now, some people are receptive to it. Some people listen to our podcast and learn from it. We get a lot of testimonials, emails back and going, hey, this has been a game changer, a life changer. Thank you so much, guys. And so, those who have ears to listen, I mean, we're talking and listen and we're helping. And anything we're not covering that you need to be covered, email us, ask us. And that's what we're doing today. This is one of these ask us segments. But different categories, Clay. I mean, you've had to see some young men that you see were train wrecks. What's the best, what's the worst way you've handled that over your course of your life?
I did something I regret, and maybe you and I have maybe we differ in this idea. I used to, every time I saw somebody heading for a train wreck, if they asked me for advice, I would give them candid and honest feedback. I used to always do it.
Sure.
And it almost universally caused resentment. So as an example, one young man years ago just told me he couldn't get stuff done. He's just struggling, can't get it done. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling. I said, well, here's the deal. What time do you wake up every day? And he goes, oh, like at 7. I'm like, okay. And what time do you go to bed? And he's like, like 2 a.m. I go, well, what are you doing during the day? We make a list of all the things he's doing. The point is he's not working very hard.
Sure.
So I said, here's the deal. Your business is not doing well because you're not focused. So you're going to need to not go on any trips, date anybody, or watch TV
5
at
hours
night.
of, 5 hours of
like
TV
you're
at
doing
night.
every night
Right.
until you're successful. Once you get there, then you can do whatever you want. But until that time, it's not going to work for you, okay? And it was a car rental kind of business, okay?
Sure.
And the guy was like, are you trying to tell me that I can't date somebody, that I can't enjoy my weekend? That's why I started a company. I'm like, I know, but you're not there yet. So you wanting to enjoy and bask in the ocean view is a lot like me going halfway between Oklahoma and Florida, parking my car in Arkansas and going, let's stop and enjoy the view. It doesn't make any sense, man. You're not there yet. You can't live like that.
It's a good analogy, by the way.
Because I'm very passionate.
Arkansas isn't halfway, by the way.
Well, because I'm very passionate, though, about this.
I'm going to Google that. Marshall, will you Google that?
I'll pull it up.
So you know what I'm saying, though? When you're passionate, though, and I'm trying to tell someone, like, I really, really care about you, man, and I'm telling you, you're going to lose everything. Get serious. People don't like that.
No, they don't, and that's that hard talk that...
But they're asking me for the feedback.
They are.
And I can tell them, and they're like, yeah, but...
What do you do when you see somebody that doesn't ask you, but you see them headed for a train wreck?
I will say, do you want any feedback? And if they say no, then I just have to move on. Sadly, I would say 9 out of 10 people don't want feedback.
No, they
want to learn through the minefield. They're like, I like to discover the mines by myself.
Yes.
I'm just going to run through the minefield and see what's out there.
Hey, look, there's one over there. I lost a foot.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's just, okay, so I would just say I don't ever give feedback to someone unless they want it, but I do ask, hey, would you be interested in feedback?
Sure.
And they always go, yeah, but your industry's different. I mean, DJing's different than, or real estate's different than photography, or photography's different than.
Or that's mean. I have a lot of times I'll have a business owner come up to me and just rail about an employee, and they look at me and go, what do you think I should do? And I go, it's easy, whack them. And it's just almost like they're like, oh my God, that's the meanest thing you could ever do.
We took a guy out to your man cave at your house one time.
Yeah.
And you had like some hammer laying out there because someone was doing some work by the pool or something. Mm-hmm. And you told this guy, it was the funniest thing ever. You told this guy, you said, listen, you need to fire the person. And they're like, yeah, but they're a friend, they're a family. I can't do it. You don't understand. My industry's different. It's hard to find good people. And you're like, you're just telling me they're costing you more than you're paying them. They don't show up to work on time. They never get something done. And you said, can you pick up that hammer? So he picks up the hammer and you said, every day you don't fire that person, I want you to just hit yourself in the crotch because it will be less painful.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And that guy, the next...
I think he was a chiropractor or something.
Yeah. And like the next Monday, he's like, I disagree.
That hammer hurt.
No, seriously. He tells me, he was like, that was just the worst. That was the most mean, most cruel, most inhumane advice. Now, true story. Probably 90 days later, come back. He goes, that's the best advice I ever got.
Isn't that truth?
But he had to endure it for 90 days. I don't understand. And he got mad. He got mad that we gave him. He wanted to ask you the question. I'm like, no, you don't want the truth.
Yeah,
you can't handle the truth. You don't want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Right.
And that's the thing about it but sometimes that truth and that directness is what you need, and you need to just deal with it. And when you know things aren't right, you've got to do the right thing to fix it. And sometimes that's the hard thing. So
okay, here we go. What advice would you give to someone who has not yet hit their financial goals, but has to balance a family life, a growing family with a growing business?
That's a tough one.
Uh-oh.
And what I always tell them is this. Hey, your significant other, they'll let you know. Work like heck. Work as hard as you can. And whenever you get that text message from your kid or your spouse that says, what's your name again? What do you look like?
And what if their significant other is a communist, a socialist, or an unmotivated human? Seriously, what if? I mean, I'm asking this because my wife, as an example, is ambitious to a point.
Oh, she gets it.
She does.
She gets it.
But my wife, she.
But there was still a day, and multiple days where she says, honey.
Today was one. Today we had the. She had said today. So she said. She says, baby, you have to stay up until 9 p.m. every night.
There you go.
And I go, what? She goes, you can't go to bed at 8:30 anymore. You stay up till 9. I'm like, why are you so hateful? Because she knows I love the flow. After the kids are going to cheerleading.
Oh yeah.
I'm going, I can go to sleep right now, and I'll go to bed like at 7.
Oh,
I love it. Like at 7:30, and then I wake up like at midnight or 1. So today she lays it out. She says, "Listen here. Here's the deal, buddy. You have to stay up till 9 o'clock." And I'm going. And she says, "You,
but the
you
second
also
or off the bat
are forbidden from waking up before 3, which causes you to go to bed before 9."
Yes, exactly.
I'm like, oh, busted.
Oh, double
busted.
caveat. Double
Seriously,
caveat.
that happened just today.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So make sure your spouse has permission. Say, listen, I'm doing this for us. I'm doing this for the family. I'm not always going to work this hard, but it's startup. It's like putting that rocket ship up into orbit. I mean, at first it takes a lot of energy, a lot of fuel. I mean, so much fuel that half the rocket is just the fuel to get it up out of the atmosphere. But then when it gets up there in the orbit, it's just a little thruster.
What if your wife is a communist, a socialist, or has not very much motivation?
You hit a bad picker. I don't know what to say.
Hopefully there's a lot of benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully things are going well in other areas.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if they really feel that way and they just don't understand why you're working and why you're just not home and collecting your free food stamps and chickens and things that they do in the communist countries. That's a tough one, because when you go into business, you have to understand that your spouse is a partner.
Yep.
Now, you also, when you sit down and you say, listen, here's what I see. Are you on board?
Are you on board?
Are you on board? Matter of fact, try to make signs.
Are you on board?
If you think you just say what you want, get out a contract and make them. Hey, here's what's going to happen. Here, are you on board? And then have that. And then the next time they fuss at you for working, what are you working? You pull out your contract. So that was our deal.
I want to give this encouragement for anybody out there who's single. Napoleon Hill did a research of what causes people to fail, the 30 causes of failure.
Yes.
And one of them was being married to a low ambition person. Now, if you are married to a low ambition person, I've only seen it work in 2 scenarios. I have 2 scenarios. I'll be very vague so no one can guess who they are.
Okay.
One person worked for me years ago, comes to me and says, I want to be successful. I go, okay. I've lived at the 89th Lynn Lane, 8900 Lynn Lane office, nice house. They assumed I was doing well. I was doing well. They said, I want to know, how can I become successful? This is a person who's really struggling in life. And I said, you need to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki and Think and Grow Rich. Basically, buy assets, not liabilities. Buy assets. Whenever you can, buy an asset, real estate, whatever, with your savings, and then read Think and Grow Rich. Implement. Well, this guy reads it. He grew up poor. He reads the book. And this is like a renewed mind. Nice. This guy's coming to work like perpetually an oversleeper, getting to work. He goes, what time do you get to work? I get to work like at 6. This guy's getting there at 5. He's over-delivering. He finds out I liked coffee with just a little hot chocolate in there. He brings that every day. He's reading books. I mean, this guy's on fire. Spouse calls me. True story. Boop, 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 boop. I just want you to know, I don't appreciate you changing my husband. And it's more of like a rednecky kind of voice. It's more, I don't appreciate you telling my husband what to do. You ain't going to change us. Now, this person was so resentful. 4 years later, 3 years later, it had been a while. At one of the Christmas parties, they came up to me, this person, tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry. I just want you to know, I love our life. But they had to, it seems like the resentment always has to happen first.
Always.
Every time.
Every time.
It's like I hate the analogy, but it's the best I have. It's like you're mentally raping people when you're forcing them to have success that they don't want.
Crazy, isn't it?
it? I mean, the people don't want it.
I know, it's crazy. And yet they want the results of it.
Right.
They just don't want the work to get there. And that's the thing that I think that this society does. I mean, our news stations, all of our social medias, it just shows the end game.
The end game.
Shows the big yacht.
Oh, yeah.
It shows the big vacationing, the Bora Bora.
The Bora Bora.
And the Fijis.
The Fijis.
And the Cancúns. It shows all that. It shows the end game. It shows what you get for your hard work. It never shows the late night, the struggles up front, the disheveledness. I don't think I showered for 2 days because I've been working so hard.
Yeah.
It never shows that part of it. Nobody puts on their Instagram, hair unkept and pulled another all-nighter to get the business going.
I saw a cool video this week that a friend of mine showed me, and it was Kanye West in the studio recording an album that is now a Grammy Award-winning album, and it shows him in the studio, Z, for 3 hours. He's playing the beat, and he's going bubba bubba ba bubba bubba ba bubba bubba ba bubba bubba ba. There's no words.
Okay, fair enough.
For 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I've worked with other musicians who do this too. And it's because the rhyme scheme, the rhyming pattern matters not more than the words, but as much as the words.
Okay.
Then once he nailed down his scheme, he works on the words. But these people had never worked with a Grammy Award-winning artist. I mean, this guy's won 21 Grammys. And they're going mentally like, imagine what it's like to be in a room with someone for 3 consecutive hours. They're like, do you mind if we film it? No. But for 3 hours, and he finally found one that worked, and he's like, yeah, that's it. Okay. And they're like, what just happened? You recorded gibberish. Like, that's hot. Walks out. I don't think people realize that he's spending 3 hours figuring out the rhyming pattern and the syncopation of the words before he even comes up with words. Then he'll spend a week coming up with the words.
That's work. That's dedication.
But that's why he
21 Grammys.
21 Grammys. I don't think people realize. See, what was the worst moment for you as you were building your businesses? When you were working 7 days a week, what was the absolute low point of just overwhelmingness, stress, or maybe the high point of your resiliency, where you were just like, oh.
My high watermark was my 2-year-old son had fallen and broken his femur. That's the big bone in your leg. So he was in traction in the hospital. They couldn't do surgery on one that young. My wife was pregnant with our youngest, and she had a kidney stone. She was in the hospital.
Oof.
I'd had a former employee just sue me for wrongful termination. That was fun. My first lawsuit.
Oh, nice.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Did you get a poster for that?
Yeah.
Whenever
star by my name.
Have you seen in the bathroom that I do this sometimes?
What?
Whenever I win these little wrongful termination things, I frame them and put them in random places. So the bathroom, next time you go, you can see one.
Oh, fine, fantastic.
It's fun. It's good.
That's fine.
It's commemorative.
Good. Commemorative. That's
I'll sign one for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So now, on top of that, it's the busiest I've ever been, and I'm working 6 days a week at this point.
Yep.
Not the fun 7 days.
Yeah.
And so I would go straight from work to the hospital, spend the night with my son, get up, go home, shower, come to work all day, see tons of patients, and just repeat. And then my daughter was 3 or 4, and she was irate. So now I had to get her watched, and now she was irate because, one, where's her family?
Right.
2 of them are in the hospital, and I'm working. And so now she's upset that she has no attention, and she is fussy. That was probably one of the hardest times in my business career, and it was ironically right when we were taking a big upswing in business. So I was super busy, super slammed, and I would have to just be understand that being away from my son in the hospital during the day was tough on me because I wanted to be there with him and comfort him because he was laying there in traction for 30 days.
30 days.
But I also knew the importance of going to work and keeping the business going, building the business, because I knew the long-term effect, what that was going to be for us. So,
did you, I know Facebook wasn't around yet at that time. This would be like 1990, maybe 2001, 2002 at this point when this happened. What year was
Let's see, Blake is 26, he was 2, so 24 years ago.
So, 2018 minus 24, Okay, 24. That would be
1992.
Okay, so around that time, I mean, did you go on Facebook and lament?
No.
Did you email everyone you know complaining?
No.
Did you go to every bar every single night and drink till you couldn't move?
There wasn't one patient that came in that time frame that knew anything in my personal life, and my employees, some of them knew just because of the.
Yeah.
Some of them I had to help move around kids.
Because you
move
pulled
around
out
stuff.
all your eyebrows as a nervous habit. You're stressed. Okay. Now when people getting a hold of you, your family, people that you want to reach you, how do you decide who to answer the phone for? When a phone call comes in or a text message comes in, how do you decide who to respond to?
I have a hierarchy in my mind, and there's some people that even if whatever I'm doing, if I see that they're calling, because sometimes I put my phone on silent, obviously, and it doesn't buzz or anything. When it's on silent, it's silent. But even then, sometimes you'll notice your phone light up, and you out of curiosity kind of glance over and see that's one of my children. One of my children gets an immediate answer if I see it. I mean, unless I'm in a meeting and my phone's, I purposely have kept it in my bag or it's been turned off. But, I have a hierarchy of people, and my managers, my children, and there's a few close friends, a few close business acquaintances that I'll always answer the phone.
But by default, you don't respond.
Oh, correct. Is that weird?
That's awesome.
It is weird, and it's also, I think, one of the most rare things that allows you to be successful.
Yeah, you could choose to be. I remember as a kid, you'd be sitting around there watching National Geographic or Disney at Sunday nights, the Disney movies with the Tinkerbell.
The original movies.
Hi, everybody, yeah. Hey.
Welcome to the Mickey Mouse Club.
And something magical would happen. You would hear the phone ring. And they were connected to the wall, Marshall. You're too young to know this. You're way too young to know this. And as young kids, we would look into the kitchen where the phone was, and we would, me and maybe two or three of my brothers would get in that like sprinter's pose of getting up and going,
Yeah.
And we would literally race into
Matrix,
the kitchen.
Time would stop.
Because that phone, it was calling us.
Yes.
It was screaming. And oh my
goodness. It could be long distance. It could be long distance.
If it was long distance, we went to DEFCON 4. I mean, it was like a minor
Everybody
emergency.
Be quiet. She's calling long distance.
Long distance.
Everybody, shh. She's in South Dakota.
Whoever got that phone first, you answered it. We had a script. You had to follow the script now when you answer the phone.
Okay, here we go.
Zellner residents, whom asked is calling.
Oh, wow.
So that was scripted out for us.
How formal.
Oh, very formal.
Nice. I remember that.
And then, if it was long distance, it'd be like, Mom, it's long distance. It's Aunt Connie. Or whoever it was.
Right.
And I mean, the whole house just shook, because the phone rang. And that's just being a slave to the phone. I mean, the phone rings out. It's like, if I don't know the number, I never answer it. And I'm like, I'll forget it. Because it's usually,
hello, this is Veronica from Card Member Services. Just calling to make sure you're happy with your credit cards. Would you want some more?
I wanted to pick your brain about a bad idea that I half baked in my mind this morning.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, then you get on the phone, and then,
hey,
what's so funny is I see people that answer those numbers, and then they spend 10 minutes trying to get off the phone with these people.
You said one thing in a meeting one time that blew my mind.
Okay.
You said, you waited till everybody left, but you pulled somebody aside, and I heard you do it, and I was like, oh, that's good. You go, I do not appreciate meaningless non-updates. So please don't call me to update me about non-updates. I don't want updates that are meaningless. I don't want not. And you said it in a way, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to let him have his way. Because you were having this conversation. There was somebody who just kept telling you mindless data that didn't matter.
Didn't matter at all.
Like stats
I didn't ask for it. I didn't care about it.
But I mean, it was a knowledge bomb. So I think some people feel like they need to just communicate, like, hey, just so you know.
Yeah, just
right?
so you know.
Isn't that a thing though? People feel like isn't that like that's a thing that people that usually don't rise to a huge level of success spend their whole day just sort of, I just want to send out this newsletter to this organization, this community of men that I get together. There's a lot of people that they get together in these community groups, these networking things, these breakfast groups, these luncheon groups, these community groups, and really we're not connecting with anybody at all. We're just pledging the flag, we're reciting the pledge, we're having cheese cubes, we're talking about something that we can't control, and then we send out newsletters, and we update the newsletters, and we
Sure.
update our site. And you see a lot of unsuccessful people sending out a newsletter, update the site, do the flag, do the pledge, serve the cheese. Next month, we're having this other person come in.
Sure.
Nothing gets done.
Well, you're right. And then going back to the employee sending me updates that were not updates and that I didn't ask for and that I didn't really care about. I think some people do that because they think, you know what, I want to make sure that the boss or the bosses know that I'm working. So if I just flood them with stuff, they know I'm working.
And you know when they didn't do real work, too. You know when somebody says they're talking in a circle.
Yeah.
Basically, I was doing some updates. I was doing some research.
Yes.
How pissed does it make you when someone says, I'm just doing my research right now. I'm really circling back. I'm trying to really get down to a different understanding. I'm trying to burn it down. You hear these general phrases. I'm trying to burn it down to the ground to build it back up, trying to kind of circle back to it. I'm just trying to dive in. I should have something to show you next week.
I love that. And then what the thing that kind of gets me even more fired up is when you're talking to someone and you've given them an assignment. In other words, you said, hey, get this done.
Get this done, baby.
And then next week you're in the meeting and you look at them and you say, did you get that done? And that is a yes or no question.
And they go, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Shh, calm down. That's not a 10-minute oration on why you didn't get it done.
And
I didn't ask why you didn't get it done.
There's 3 excuses. I'll role play with you. Here are the 3. First one is miscommunication.
Yeah.
There was a miscommunication. I didn't know if did you want me to do that or Marshall? Because when you said Clay do it, I thought you said Marshall. When you said Clay Clark, I thought that meant Marshall and I. So I was, Marshall, is it done? I mean, you've seen that move, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a move.
That's a move. Okay. How do you handle it?
How do I handle that?
Yeah, how do you handle it?
If it's our first time happening, I'll say, well, let's clarify right now.
Okay.
Let's maybe even put it in writing. Maybe even send them an email. Send me an email to what you send me an email right now or a text message right now as to what you're supposed to get done by next week. You right now. And then they go, okay, perfect. It's from you to me. Here's what you're supposed to do. I'll see you next week. Okay. Next.
Okay. Emotional.
I was gonna do it, but I have a baby. And my baby was up all night, and I just got so overwhelmed, and I don't know how to use. I'm new to town, and I couldn't find the locations in my Google map, and I'm just new to town.
What do you do?
Eat the baby. Google Maps better.
What do you do? Because somebody will bring up like their baby and their inability to use Google Maps as a reason for not, like they combine them. Or they'll go, I have a thyroid problem, and I saw a specialist. It's very concerning.
It's very concerning.
I mean, you know that
you don't understand.
There are people that can force cry. You know force criers.
Oh, heck yeah.
Come on.
Oh, no doubt about it. I can in a pinch. Here's the thing about that is that they are defining what kind of employee they are.
Right.
Now, you're the idiot that doesn't listen to that. You're the idiot that keeps thinking that they're going to show up on time and they're always late and being upset with them. You should be upset with yourself. Because they are defining the kind of employee they are. So if you want to continue to give that kind of person high-level jobs to get done on a weekly basis, then who's the fool, right? So every now and then, everybody gets a mulligan in life. I mean, you've hired them, you put some time into them.
We've all made mistakes, but there are moves.
These are the moves, but you've kept them around for a reason at this point. So, and maybe that was a straw that broke the camel's back. Maybe that's the 17th time they've done that. So then, whack them, move on.
Move 3 is I forgot. Yeah, I just, oof.
Here again, they are defining.
I forgot.
They are defining what kind of employee they are, and that is a move that happens on occasion, and that's why you have to be purposeful and then teaching them on how to make to-do list. Put this on the top of your to-do list. Let's pull it out right now. Let's make a to-do list. Let's get a big chief tablet and number 2 pencil, and let's just make your list.
You've obviously achieved many of your financial and time freedom goals. What's your big goals now that you care to speak of publicly? Because that is a rule of all super successful people. Almost all super successful people that I know will never share with you their true big goal. They might share little glimpses of their goal. But I could spend a whole podcast about why you should never share your big goals to everyone. You only just share to your closest, your inner circle. But what are you've achieved a lot of goals so far, financially and time freedom goals. What are a few goals now that you could share on a podcast that hundreds of thousands of people listen to?
I'm really excited about this next chapter of my life. I'm going to be in business with my children for the first. I'm in business with my daughter. She's now a doctor in my optometry clinic.
By the way, sounds really good on the commercials.
She does.
And
she's always been a rock star on those.
Funniest person. I'm not kidding. The funniest. You might not appreciate how funny she is, but I'm telling you, she is the funniest conversationalist I have ever been around. At your birthday party a couple years back.
Yeah. She's a rock star.
She just knows how to. She's got your magic there. She's so good conversationally.
She's got that emotional intelligence.
It's
that
off
goes
the charts.
so well.
Off the charts.
I'm so proud of her. So that's been kind of a fun new chapter. My son, my middle child, my son, he is getting ready to graduate optometry school. And he just gave me my second grandbaby, Matthew. Shout out to Matthew.
Wow.
Woke up, Sebastian and Matthew.
Is it kind of like a factory deal? Like you have a certain production quota, like every 9 months you want another one? Or what's your agreement
Yeah, I've
there?
kind of laid down the law for my kids. I'm like, come on.
It's important to define the key.
My daughter's getting ready to have her
performance
first one in
indicators.
January, a little granddaughter. So I got
Really?
I got that coming. That's kind of a big deal. And then my third child, Bo, my youngest, he and I are getting ready to start some new businesses, and I'm excited about those. And so I think for me, it's always that entrepreneurial spirit. I think I still have a good 10, 15, 20 years running me to start some businesses and grow businesses. What I enjoy doing, it's what apparently it's what one of the few things in life I can do well. So I'm going to do it, and now I'm going to do it with my children, and that has a new excitement to it. I've never done that, and so it helped them now.
True.
To help them now, get their time freedom and financial freedoms, and to move forward in their life is going to be very rewarding, I feel.
Now, the books. Final 2 questions here. Books. We've talked about it on previous shows, but if you had to recommend 2 books or more, but let's just say at least 2 books to the listeners out there. Again, I know these because we've had previous shows on it, but we get these questions asked a lot. What books would Dr. Z recommend for every entrepreneur out there? If you had to recommend, let's say at least 2, what would you recommend?
I would recommend Winning by Jack Welch.
Okay.
All right. I think that is a modern look at how to bootstrap it up and how to old school grow a business. And
the former CEO of GE, by the way, who grew the company by 4,000%. The company was stagnant before he took over.
Right, and at the time of him leaving, I think was the world's largest corporation, or at some point.
And then by the way, when he left, it's gone off again off the rails. They're just not able to implement because he had certain principles and systems and mindsets, and he's probably one of the most effective managers of all time. If you're struggling to manage people, Winning by Jack Welch, read it once, read it twice. That book is nice.
And I think it's an old school book, and it's kind of a weird book to recommend in a business mentality, but I think it's one of the things that's lacking in so many business owners' brain power. And that is, it's a book written, 3,000 years ago by a Chinese general of war. It's called The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And it is the 13 chapters deal with his 13 steps in how to prepare and defeat the enemy. And I don't know why, but it seems like that so many people I talk to, when I talk about business being war, they just kind of pucker up and this new kind of offensive world we live in is like, oh, that's offensive. That's just mean. This isn't war. This is I just want to sell cookies. I mean, or I just want to I want to teach people. I want to teach dogs how to have better manners. I mean, I want to sell pizzas. And I'm like, you don't understand. It is if you don't understand that you're headed into battle, then you've lost. And I think that's why, according to Forbes, our business Bible, that 80 to 90% of all businesses out there fail. And I think a lot of people don't have that mindset of, hey, it is war. I do have competition out there. They don't want me to succeed. They're going to do whatever they can do to be more successful. Therefore, it makes me less successful. Folks, it's a battle out there. And that book really it fires you up. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's talking about, scouting your enemy. We call it mystery shopping.
Right.
Yeah, it talks about all these different moves.
Appear to be weak when you're strong, appear to be strong when you're weak.
Oh, it's so fun.
And there's so many moves.
So many moves.
I love the moves.
And they're ageless. I mean, these were back in, 3000 BC, so maybe 5,000 years ago.
I remember one time, a guy, actually, it was funny, but there was I'd read that book, and there was a competitor of ours, who really was being shady, and he drove from Oklahoma City to Tulsa to meet me because he said he wanted to sell his company to me. And Z, the idea of appearing to be weak when you're strong.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I worked that.
Oh, it's so fun.
So he's like, how are things? I go, oh, the house is good. The business is good. But I got to be honest with you. Can I share something with you? And I said, it's getting tight. It's getting tight. Now, see, I didn't say what that meant. I implied. I didn't say a specific dollar amount. It's getting tight. It's getting tight. He said, why is it? Well, it's just... And so because I knew that he was disingenuous for coming to... he told me he was coming to Tulsa to sell his company to me, but multiple people that I knew who actually worked there were like, dude, this guy, former employees of mine were like, this guy is trying to spy on you and then come to Tulsa. So he's like, well, why is it tight? I said, well, right now we raised our prices.
You do the second, you do the
Well, we're raising our prices to a minimum of $1,000 per wedding because the industry's gotten too loose.
You are not being completely truthful there.
Oh, no, I'm playing games. And
yeah.
And he's like, so you what? And I said, well, we did $550, $600 for the wedding, and it was unlimited time. And that was great. We had so much business, I decided, you know what? I need to charge as much as possible. And unless people are just really outrageously complaining, I'm doing the other DJs a disservice like you.
Right.
So I've raised my prices, but I think we might have gone too much. So what do you charge? I said, well, it's a lot of money. It's a little higher than I want. He's like, how much? Like, I don't want to talk about it, but it's a lot. I mean, we probably overshot. He goes, well, are you going to lower your prices? No, I can't. You can't. I would lose face. You lose face. You told your whole team we're going to raise prices. I can only tell a guy like you. I can't tell everybody.
Don't tell anyone.
I can't make a change like this. So please don't tell
anyone.
Because I know he's immediately going to go tell. So this jackass comes into Tulsa, prices raised as high as he can go, just a little under what I told him, and we destroyed him. Oh. Thank you, Sunju.
Thank you. And it was about 3,000 years ago. It was about 600, 700 BC. So,
final question I have for you.
Okay.
You're very successful because you do things a different way than most people, because most people are not successful, and you are successful. Therefore, you do things differently than most people. What is one thing that you do differently than everybody every single day?
Whew, that's a good
I mean, something that you're just swimming upstream, bro. I have a lot of things I could list off that I see you do, but feel free to, if you want me to give you a few just to kind of...
Can you get me started there? Because I'm trying to think how deep you want me to go on that.
One, you by default do not answer your phone.
Okay.
By default, you do not answer your phone. That's profound.
Yes.
2, by default, you do not feel the need to return a call or to return any correspondence to anyone ever. 3, you definitely always do what's best for your business. You always do what's best for the business. You always do what's best for the business.
Right.
Because that creates all the jobs for all your people.
Right.
It's your golden goose. Can you talk about that idea of doing what's best for the business?
Well, as I said before, I have that filter that says, "Is this what's best for the business?" And that's a hard decision to make sometimes, because you may be looking at someone that is a friend, a lifelong friend, could be a family member, could be someone who's worked for you for years, and you know what's best for the business is for them to move on, for them to be labeled customer status and not employee status. I've just upgraded you to customer. Thank you very much.
Status.
And that's a difficult thing to do. Firing people is probably one of the most difficult things to do as a business owner.
Yep.
Also, whenever so that's the hardest thing. So let's focus on that, because everything else is typically usually easier than that.
Right.
Another thing out there that I see with business owners is pride, and pride's a horrible thing. Something I try to beat out of myself every day.
Comes before the fall.
It does, and pride in this sense. And I went through a little season of it myself, just to be very transparent here. And that is this pride of
I could do this all on my own. I'm smart and I figured this out. This is my baby, my business. I started this thing up 3 years ago, and by gosh, I'm going to do this all by myself. I don't need to read any of those silly business books. I don't need to read any of those. I don't need to go to the in-person workshop. Are you kidding me? They probably just want to upsell me and try to take all my money.
Because I'm the man.
Because I'm the man.
I'm the man. My name is a Z, and it's on every business.
Listen, the richest man in the world. Well, Bill Gates goes back and forth with Bezos. We'll check the stock here in a second, let you know. So either first or second richest man in the world. When asked the advice he would give to a startup business owner, he said,
you need to have a coach.
Business coach.
Yes.
A business coach. A coach can make a lot of
Schmidt,
difference.
former CEO of Google, said you got to have a business coach.
The CEO of Google, you'd think the guy's pretty successful, obviously, but these guys have guys behind them. It's funny. I was telling someone the other day, we were talking about basketball, and we did a series on Phil Jackson, 11 rings.
So good. I love that.
And I looked at them and I said, Michael Jordan. Said, yeah. Kobe Bryant, two of the best. I said, you realize neither one of them won a championship without Phil Jackson as their coach. And they went, what?
Those guys could play like a combined 35, I think, years between the two of them, and they didn't win a single NBA championship when Phil Jackson wasn't coaching them.
And you might say Kobe and Michael could have said, Phil Jackson, you're not that good a basketball player. I mean, you're okay, but you're not like us superstars.
And Kobe actually did one time. He got Phil Jackson fired, and then he had to apologize and get him back.
Eat a little crow.
It's like, I can't win without him.
I can't win. Exactly. A coach can make all the difference between winning and losing.
I'll tell you what, if you're out there and you are struggling to have success, listen to this podcast until your brain explodes. Z, I appreciate you sharing some candid feedback for the listeners out there. And as always, want to end every show with a boom. 3, 2, 1, boom.